I'm surfing.
Surf and turf.
Seems like a meal at a Red Lobster.
We're live.
Oh, there you go. You fixed it. You did it.
I don't know. We'll see if it's.
I don't know if you were fixing.
Yeah, I don't know what's. Just because we're live doesn't mean it's fixed. Those are two different things, Sean.
I guess so. G4 is live as well.
I haven't watched that since it's come back. And Josh on our team, very, very excited for G4.
Yeah, I think quite a few people are. I am not sub to it. It's just the top of the recommended channels. As I'm here on Twitch looking for PSVG to pop up, I see G4, and they're at a food truck. Speaking of surf and turf, they are serving burritos and lobster of some sort.
Nice. I feel like, for me, G4 is this thing that I liked in a different era of consuming media.
Mm-hmm.
And it coming back does nothing for me, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it's just I've evolved since the days that I used to sit down and flip on Spike and get my gaming dose, my fill of gaming news for the week or every 2 weeks,
And even like how many different places did you go back then? Like there's probably one or two.
Yeah. Very, very And I really, really like, is it Sessler?
Yeah, Adam Sessler. Yeah.
I used to watch his reviews. Like, I'll never forget his Grand Theft Auto 5 review was like the one review that I couldn't wait to read, like the day that game came out. I wanted to check his review first. But yeah, and just a different time. This was before I did my own podcasting, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But really before I did podcasts, like really before I got into all the stuff that we're in. And now, I don't know, for me it feels like going like regressing, like backwards. But I guess for some people, like that nostalgia dose, that shot of how it used to be, I think
they're counting on it.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of counting on it.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't know, we kind of talked about this before, but like I want to like check in on my friends. I feel like my friends are the crazy thing. Maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing, but the crazy thing about G4 and the IGNs and the GameSpots, everybody else is like, my friends do it just as good, if not better. Like, why are they not like phenomenal at this stuff? And the whole, like, even the like the when we went into lockdown and everybody had to shift to doing podcasts and content from home, and it's just like, dude, like,
I remember
your IGN. I remember Bobby going on about this a lot, and
I remember me and Bobby talking about it. I think I
Mm-hmm.
tweeted about it like that first week. I was like, boy, like what a time to be a stay-at-home podcaster. Like you were,
Seriously.
you were ready to go. And you're right, it took them a minute, but I mean,
took them a minute. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I don't like saying that that our friends are like our community's better at it. We don't do the production nearly that they do. It's not even close.
I
They've
guess I
got
just don't
sets
see it.
and stuff. They go alive all the time. They're more like so like the IGNs of the world. They're more like a TV studio. Like
production is one thing.
Channel.
Yeah, so I think production is definitely one thing, and eventually you're right. They caught up. They kind of went back to like, okay, let's have our might back at it. But I don't know. I see like errors. I just see like things that like you and I, like for us to like, oh, I don't remember like this or that or whatever.
Sure.
It's like, I don't know. Like there's some mistakes that just kind of get made.
Did I tell you about my what was it? Damon Hatfield's podcast. Which one does he do?
Yeah, Game Scoop. Yeah.
Did I tell you about that?
No, but I don't remember, because like there's something I'm my memory's faded for what exactly I'm referring to, but I feel like there's something that maybe you and I have discussed or something that came up recently.
I remember I told
really?
So one, I really enjoy him, and I've always listened to his podcast.
Yes.
They were on a podcast, I think it was after the State of Play, where I think it's Justin Davis. He goes on for about, and it opens the show. He goes on for 15 minutes about how great the State of Play was, and how it proved the power of the PS5, and it showed all like the Horizon State of Play. He's like, this is why you've got a PS5. It's only possible in PS5. They're all going around the circle talking about how great it is. This is why next gen should be only. This is why Xbox cross gen is bad. And then they had a guest, and I don't remember the guest, but like around I'm just throwing out a number, but it felt like 15 minutes. Who knows? Maybe minute 7, 13, whatever. Out of nowhere, this guy comes in and goes, but it's also coming on PS4, right? And he goes, is it? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I didn't even know that, and I was thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a time there where I'm
really?
sitting there and I'm like, really, guys? Like, you guys are IGN.
Yeah, that's mostly what I mean. And the thing I have to say when kind of making a comment like that is, of course, we all make mistakes. Like, none of us are perfect.
I've done,
but
plenty.
The gap is closed. The gap is closed significantly in terms of like what
Sloth.
anybody.
I mean, he's back. I mean, I would to even be considered, you know, is such a great, right. It was such a great honor to even be at the forefront. I know Grouchy has said it for many years that he stopped following a lot of outlets and stuff because he says he gets most of his fill from us.
Totally.
On our weekly content.
Well, especially like I feel like that's what Shaq and Empire do exceptionally well. Like, we'll miss stuff. We won't cover everything on the drives.
I think you
very
cover the important stuff. If anything,
I think every now and then I'll listen to your show.
Kind of unimportant.
But I like it, like, and that's why I like that we occupy like that. I think you and I see like it's different spaces, and I enjoy that. Like, I like listening to you guys, and every once in a while I'll go like, God, we missed that one. Like, that was kind of a big one. Like, that was kind of an obvious one, and we missed that one. And it's I think part of it might be the form factor, like the 40-minute show, but then also sometimes it's just like that we do 40 of these shows could be part of it as well. And like sometimes you just don't have the hour and a half that you need to really put together a comprehensive set of show notes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love that the drive is the brief, you know, dose that it is. It's nice. It's like a shot of a podcast. You just kind of down it real quick and you move on. And I'm sure for a lot of people, I think I've even seen a lot of folks, they really enjoy that brevity. I've never I don't think I could do that. I don't think my style of like trying to fully fledge out a thought would ever, I don't think I could just shackle myself to some sort of rule like that. You remember?
Well, you get somewhere with it too. Like, I'll give myself more time. I'm not going to get any further along at all. I'll just be like, I'm still the same spot. Like, you remember, why are we still talking about this?
Jose Otero on voice chat, he used to have a timer, and he would set the timer.
Oh God!
And like when it buzzed, it didn't matter what you were trying to say.
Oh, well, that was a segment, wasn't it? That wasn't the question block or something.
Just cut it and you move on.
Yeah.
And I was like, that would have been the killer for me. That would have been the worst possible thing.
Just quit. You just quit right then and there. Because I thought about, like, I don't know if you ever watched Pardon the Interruption, like PTI sports show, kind of like that. I thought about doing like one of our weeks.
Devin
and
I always wanted to do that.
That'd be awesome.
Devin and I were gonna do a PTI version of gaming,
like actually sports or gaming.
No, gaming, just gaming. Okay, but the same kind of format. But we were gonna do that. Yeah.
Yeah. My dream is a PTI show, says Jace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had that idea like 2 or 3 years ago. We were gonna do that. It was gonna be funny.
I actually can't believe that that's not that none of us ever really lampooned that yet. Honestly, like, I don't know if it's that popular. Or maybe the worlds are just that separate of like sports, like talk shows and like video game stuff that maybe there's only honestly, a couple of us that really know it.
I just thought you couldn't do it without the production. Like, to do it half-assed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that works as well as a podcast. It's really a TV show. You need to watch it.
That's so funny because they're just talking. You know, like, it really is
but it's
a podcast. But
when you have a limited time to make your point, a lot of times it's how you're making your point. It's your body language. It's everything else that's going into it.
Yeah. And the timer. Like, you're looking, like, you're seeing them, like, they're yammering on. You see the timer. You see the other topics kind of coming up. So I think you're right. That probably is part of it. Do you think anybody checks show notes? Do you think people read? Is that an important thing in podcasting? Like the show notes, like
of the podcast? Oh, I don't.
Yeah, like what?
No.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. I'm always torn on this. I see some people doing a phenomenal job with them, and I'm like, I don't know.
I think I will check show notes if it's a really long podcast. Hopefully, looking for like time marks or skips.
Yeah. I think CJ does it for Player One.
I think if you do a lot of, if you're like a variety show, you do a little bit of everything. I think you kind of owe it to your listeners to do time marks.
Yeah.
If you're a very niche show, it's like we're talking about Nintendo only, but Nintendo and everything.
Yeah.
Except only Nintendo. Then I think you're okay. But if you're going to talk about, like, we're going to take the top 10 stories and we're going to do it all in one show, then it's like you probably owe it to your listeners to,
like us, let
them jump around.
I don't even know how we would do timestamps with this show. Like, how do you even determine that you're even on a thing? Like, when we never really land on a thing. Since we've started.
Yeah, no, this
probably like
work.
16 timestamps.
Yeah, this show doesn't work for that.
Probably not, which is for the best. I think that's all right.
Yeah.
Are you Are you reading your Ask Iwata book? Did you actually get through it?
I got through about 30 pages of it on vacation, and then
did you
go back to it? Yeah, I don't read,
dude. I want to more.
It's audiobook like nothing for me.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, that's what I really should do. I haven't I still have a closed mind to that for some stupid reason.
Oh, audiobooks?
Not necessarily. It's actually, I shouldn't say it's a closed mind. It's more like I'll get to my books. Like I don't want to do the audiobook because I will read it. I promise myself I'll read, and then I haven't got through a real book in over a year at least.
I don't read anymore.
Yeah.
Jay says I just want to host anything, and it'll make me like. It'll make me tired.
I've passed out, dude. I've like legit just like, and I'm like my chin is hitting my chest. Like it's so cliche. It's not even funny. Jace just wants to host and give the points though. I don't want to be a contestant. Be right back.
Perfect for him.
They're building the API.
He's Reale. Tony Reale.
We gotta get him in here, man. Gotta get him on a show.
No, we did that, and it was miserable and awful.
Well,
no, absolutely not. We're not doing
or on our show. It doesn't necessarily have to be this show, but his imaginary podcast, whatever it is.
We should have called our show Jason's Imaginary Podcast.
We really should have done that. Yeah. In secret it is. Somewhere in the metadata, it'll be called Jason's Imaginary Podcast.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Dude, do you want to talk about this Mario Golf tournament that we're doing?
We
on
can.
The 3DS.
Yeah.
I don't want to cross over too much into Shaq, but like I think the 3DS game is awesome, dude.
I mean, I've said it.
Like it's years. Actual golf.
Exactly. It's not Mario Tag, which is what I've deemed Mario Golf Super Rush. They should just call it Mario Tag Super Rush.
I know you were talking about it the other night, and I was like, I don't know what you mean, and necessarily, like, I get the sense that maybe this isn't like the most hardcore sim golf game. And then I went back to play. Well, of course, like, and that's I'm not sure exactly what you mean then, like if the golf is too easy. But then I went back to World Tour. And I was like, "Oh, this is good.
I can explain it.
Really good golf game."
I feel like I can explain it, and maybe this will give me a little test run before Shaq. But I mean, so golf is a game of misses. Like the actual game of golf is a game of misses. You should not be able to string together 72 perfect strokes in a row. Like you're not playing golf. There's like a randomness to playing golf. And the swing counter. This is why Hot Shots has been amazing for so many decades.
Yeah.
The classic timer of the shot, right? Should be affected by the conditions. It should be affected by your lie.
Oh, yeah, that's totally true. It doesn't change at all.
It doesn't change at all. Like Sean, we played together the first night without doing any tutorials or anything. It took me maybe 12 holes. Yeah. And then I think I just birdied in for like the next 4 rounds. Like I didn't basically hit a bad shot from that point forward.
Yeah.
It took me about 13 holes to get the swing down, get all the controls down, get all the adjustments down, and then once I got it down, I went on autopilot. Yeah. And at that point, I'm just playing, and it shouldn't be that easy. Mario Golf World Tour and 3DS, not that easy. If a lot of people that pulled it out this weekend, they were like, "Oh yeah, the timer moves faster. You have less margin for error. Like there's more to it." I think this game, I think the new game doesn't have all of those things because they want the focus to be on the power-ups, the crazy zaniness, the speed.
Sure,
Right, so they had to tone all that back down.
Is that what tennis was about? Because I totally skipped Aces.
I'm not a great source on Aces, but no, I mean, tennis still played like Mario Tennis. You still had the power-ups, the double A, double B, the back shot, the forehand. Like, it still felt like tennis, and actually... if you played like with the advanced controls, there was a lot of depth there. It still felt like Mario Tennis, like it was true to the franchise. Yeah. I don't feel like Super Rush is true to the franchise at all. Super Rush.
Oh yeah.
Super Rush could have been like a Wii Sports follow-up, and you just taken Mario out of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's more like that than it is Mario Golf.
It just wouldn't sell. I'm curious to see the numbers on this one.
I
feel like a lot of people bought it.
Yeah, everybody on my friends list was playing it. Everybody's
playing
it. So,
and it's the whole.
We had fun. I had fun.
Of course.
It's just not anywhere close to the game that I wanted for the last 5 years. I know. Not even close.
Especially because it was like the thing that I think we're really looking forward to is the communal part of it.
Longer than that, right?
I feel like I saw 2014 on the 3DS.
Like longer than that.
Yeah. You got to look at those titles of those games. Says Dat Ninja Dev. I don't know. Well, what do you think about the whole notion of like voting with your wallet? Like, have we contributed to the problem here? Is that
Yeah.
something that you even like?
Yeah.
Do you own that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know that I do. I feel like that's
Yeah.
just too big of a, it's too much of an ocean
Yeah.
to like sway the
You're the
tide
machine
at
where
all.
you're like. So let me ask you this: do you vote? Does Canada even
Yeah.
have presidents?
We have no. We're
How does that work?
What
Is it
we
the
have?
Queen?
We have a prime minister. We have a
it the
prime
Queen?
minister. We have the like England's queen is on our money, but like she
Right.
doesn't really mean anything to us. But yes, we vote for like
So do
you
you
would
not
have a
vote
governor for
because your
state.
vote doesn't matter?
I don't know. Well, no, I do
Those
vote.
those
I
are
see
very
what
similar
I'm stalling on
principles.
is I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Because to me, it's not about whether or not Nintendo feels my vote. To me, it's whether I feel good with the support that I've given or not given.
That's the better way to say it. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like if
Yeah. So
I
you don't
could
necessarily
return,
own the
if I could
outcome or
return
the result.
Mario Golf Super Rush, I probably would.
Yeah.
But I bought it digitally, and I can't.
Yeah.
But
Same.
if I had a physical copy, I probably would
Trade it
return
in.
I might.
Yeah.
Because I played it a bunch. Don't get me wrong, I played it a lot. First day, 8 or 9 hours.
Mhm.
I beat the single
Yeah.
player. I played with more friends. I played online. I streamed it.
Yeah.
After 2 days with that game, like I'm done with the game.
Yeah.
Like I will play casually with friends. I'm happy to play with you guys.
Mhm.
But like, do I want to play it by myself? No, not really.
So then at like what point does it become a bit of an issue for Nintendo? Because like I don't know, we can maybe dig through a list of first party releases lately. It's like this is now a pattern of kind
I don't
of
think
like
it's a pattern, and I still have hope for Mario Golf that the updates will come. And
well,
I
that's
think,
what I mean. That is the pattern. Is that hopefully the updates will come.
Yeah.
That they release these games and they're just kind of like, the last one
I
was
don't
better.
think it's a pattern. I think it's a pattern for Camelot. I don't think it's a pattern for Nintendo.
Mm.
I think you're painting with a broad stroke here.
I feel like I should actually dig up a list so that I can maybe like Mario Party definitely comes to mind of a game that didn't have something that's pretty core.
Is it core?
eh,
What Mario Party game had full online before Mario Party?
I just mean like, well, and that's another thing. So now you're just like the bar is actually just Nintendo's low bar that they've always said, or is the bar gaming in 2021 or whatever year it is?
I think you're being harsh.
Because that's maybe, and that's, I'm
think
just
you
kind of
are.
exploring it.
Yeah, no, I know you are. I'm just
Yeah.
pushing back because I mean I think there's plenty of games there are plenty of Nintendo games where they do the opposite and they prove the opposite, right? Like
What do you mean?
You could just take Splatoon or Smash.
Yeah.
You know, where they do provide lots and lots of updates, and
Sure.
lots of balancing, lots of tweaks for a very long time, and they launch
Mm-hmm.
fine. They launch great even,
Yeah.
right? So I think you can pick 2 or 3 and try to make that like your case, but that's not your case. I mean, Clubhouse Games wasn't that. Like most of the releases aren't that. I mean,
Clubhouse Games was that. Clubhouse Games was here's 52 games, and oh, by the way, you can play 6 of them with actual people
Yeah,
or with
well,
4 people.
It was a local co-op game though. We knew that going into it. Did you?
Oh man. No, I didn't realize that like the online multiplayer was going to be so crippled.
So is this path of thinking? Is it the idea that we should ask for more? We should want more?
I don't know what I don't, or just, yeah, do we support it? Like, I think part of it is like, for me is I want to be playing the games with my friends. Like
Sure.
that's a huge part. So when they drop a game like this, it's like, I'm going to go in buying it. Cause
I think
there's
the
not
only
too many.
fun thing about Mario Party Super or Mario Golf Super Rush is when you play with friends.
Right. So you end up buying it for that and kind of ignore, 75% else of the game.
Yeah.
So you end up spending the dollars that, I don't know, maybe you just wouldn't with other games. Maybe it's part of it where it's just a different standard with Nintendo, because there's something magical that happens when Nintendo drops a game, everybody buys it, and it's always been that way. It was that's one of the reasons why we play
wasn't
Halo
that way
Saturdays.
on Wii U, right?
Well, that's true. Well, at least if in the Nintendo community, there was still like, I mean, that
There was 10 million people
especially
buying it, but that's not
sure
everybody.
Not everybody in the world, but at least like in our communities, it was like, well, this is the only game that Nintendo's given us, so we're all buying it and
Sure.
we're all going to be playing it. Like Splatoon kind of hitting that territory
love
because there wasn't really anything happening.
Yeah.
So we all just played it.
Yeah.
So but there's other like, when you're on Xbox or maybe
I don't
to a
feel
certain
like
degree.
that will be the case with Advance Wars or WarioWare. I don't think that was the case with Donkey Kong. I think that's the case with some games. I think Animal Crossing was definitely that, right? Like everybody didn't.
Oh,
go
yeah,
buy,
Animal
everybody
Crossing.
didn't buy Mario Kart Live. A lot of people didn't actually.
Yeah.
You know, so like I think that there's varying levels to that, I guess. Like I don't think everybody bought 3D World. Not everybody bought 3D World on the re-release. I think it's going to sell well, but it's not like, it's not like, big Mario sells.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I think they did pretty well. But I guess really what I mean is like when they drop a game and there's a multiplayer element to it, there's a gravitational pull that seems like irresistible. Where you're like, I could be doing 5 other things, but I guess I'm doing Nintendo stuff right now.
Well, and I think the underlying part of that is a lot of our community is very Nintendo centric. And when we're all doing something, like when they see Sean Capri streaming Mario, they want to play Mario with Sean Capri.
Well, and that's sort of my own like limited kind of test environment is what I put out there to stream and what people show up for. And Nintendo is the thing. And I would love for that to be, there's a ton of we did a Titanfall.
I think you jump into a lot of Nintendo games because that the folks are going to be there to like watch you.
I think that's where I've ended up. I think that's kind of where I've ended up, and that feels a little dumb. I tweeted that a little bit. Like it feels kind of stupid to spend the dollars on it. But at the same time, like so much of it is supported by the people who I play with anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of doesn't matter, but I see like there's a couple voices out there. I'll give a shout out to like Todd Oxtra who hates Nintendo. He'll take every chance he can get and go like, this is a double, like he's like me, but like relentless.
A fiery guy.
Relentless. And that's where him and Bobby met, was like fighting in like Nintendo voice chat Facebook groups, right? And he's always been there. It's just like sometimes I'm like,
he's tried to bring
like,
some of that
to
my Twitter threads, but I got to tell you, I'm usually telling Todd like, I'm not having any of this. Be gone, Todd.
Well, lately I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming, but yeah, for the most part, I'm like, okay, let's just settle down a little bit. It's gonna be okay. But I just thought like this maybe among maybe more than other games is a good opportunity to just kind of explore like the Nintendo effect. They don't like it's kind of disheartening.
This game is not getting a bump, by the way.
No, that's definitely not on.
Reviewers are taking it to Mario Golf pretty good, I think. I don't think like if I was reviewing this game for IGN, I'd probably given it like a 6.
Yeah. What did they give them?
I don't know, but I would have went pretty hard on it. I think I would go. I would go pretty hard on. If I was a professional reviewer, I'd be pretty critical of this game.
Yeah, and I don't have the same number of hours, I don't think, into it as you have. Definitely more on the multiplayer side, because I was just about to fire it up, and then I saw you start up the 3DS tournament. I'm like, let's do that. And I've done 2 rounds of that. And it's excellent.
I could feel that coming for a while. Ever since that. Okay.
IGN gave it a 6 as Ryan.
Ooh, wow.
In the
See,
chat.
There you go. Yeah, I was thinking I'd 4 or 5, but I reserve like 4 and 5 for like much worse games. I think. It's not awful.
That would feel personal.
Right.
That would feel like you got to give it a dig.
I think a 6 is about right actually for a lot of it.
So.
But anyway, doesn't matter. I could feel since they did their little. I don't remember what they call it. Remember they had like that preview, that 10-minute little mini direct thing for golf. Since then, and I started like stalking the Japanese website. Yeah, and I was like, this isn't good, guys. Since then, I could feel like this groundswell for Mario Golf 3DS tournaments come back. Like it just seemed like everybody I was talking to would mention it. Rebecca would mention it. Garrett would mention it. Jason would mention it. Like people, they'd be like, we just play the 3DS one again. Like I like that one. That one was fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, do people even have their 3DSs anymore? And every time everybody was like, yeah, I still do.
Mine wasn't even dusty, man. Mine was still in like good shape. Like it was still like, I look at my Vita is still like, I even power it up every once in a while and somehow it just actually collects dust. It's like a magnet somehow. I don't know exactly what's happening. I try to take care of it.
It's like a filter.
But one of the things I've been thinking about is like, as I've turned on my 3DS and I went and I dug out it was a card I actually was about to call Nintendo. I'm like, why is my Mario Kart or my Mario Golf game not downloading? I didn't actually buy it digital. I almost called them and I forgot I owned it physical. But anyway, I went into my whole, like I've got a big like Rubbermaid kind of like case and I've got all my 3DS carts in there and everything, some 2DS, some old Game Boy. And it's just like, oh, these games are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
These games are so good. And I don't know, maybe this will be historical, maybe it won't be such a big deal, but I feel like at no other time did a game drive me to an older console or an older ecosystem where I might actually stick around a little bit. Like I could see myself talking about 3DS
let me ask you about that
for a while.
When we did the lunch club, I feel like it burned out because we did it so often. We did it every week, and I was thinking about that when I launched it again yesterday. I was thinking to myself, like, do I temper this a little?
Yeah.
Maybe do it every like once a month.
Like a Splatfest.
Yeah, just kind of throw it out there, let us everyone play for a bit, and then like everybody go back to your games, do your next gen thing, and we'll catch you next time. Because at one time we had like 50 people playing Mario Golf, and then I stopped doing it because it whittled down, like PGA Tour, like it whittled down to like 5 people. And I was like, well, if only 5 people are going to play, then we don't need to do this. Which, by the way, spoilers for Shaq this week, PGA Tour 2K21 crushes Mario Golf Super Rush, and it's not even close. It's not even. It's such a better game.
Yeah, maybe you need to fire that back up too. Like now, I'm gonna. That's the game. It just has me splintering off. Have in all these different directions.
Mario Golf? That's what in my head. That's what That's actually what I want to play. I'm like, we should just all play that. The problem is, it's no crossplay, and none of the Nintendo folks have it.
Right. That's a great example of exactly what I was trying to kind of commentate on before, which is like Nintendo does a thing, everybody buys it, and it creates this space that like it's a crowds draw crowds.
Crossplay, I think people would buy it to play with us. I think our Nintendo folks would buy it to play with us.
Maybe.
Without crossplay, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what limited us on Xbox. It was just basically the 9 or 10 of us that play on Xbox. You know, like we need more than that. It's not as fun if you only have 8 people playing.
I think part of it for me too with that game was just the memory of like Tiger Woods games and a little bit of the progression that you kind of got along with that, like the reason, the hook, the carrot that kind of kept you coming back. But like that doesn't exist in Mario Kart, and I'm playing that like every week, and I'm having a great time with it.
It was in 2013, and you're still.
That's going to be the thing that will always break my logic, right? Because I look like I want.
That's the game that I go to actually. If I was reviewing Mario Golf, that's the game I would point out. I feel like they tried to make Mario Golf as close to kart as they possibly could.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the formula they took with it. They're like Mario Golf doesn't move as much. Apparently, people didn't like it. So how do we make this? Well, look at what Mario Kart's doing. We're selling 80 million copies of that. Like, let's do that.
Yeah. I wonder why. Like, I mean, I don't know if golf isn't. It was just a different time for Nintendo as well. I feel like their marketing machine just works differently now. Like we've talked about this maybe before, where it's like they were only going to focus on whatever's coming next. Now that E3 is done, we actually have a bit of a roadmap. But like for the longest time, it was what's even coming after.
Their roadmap is from here to January. It's not like Xbox's roadmap.
Totally,
it's not even PlayStation's roadmap. At least in PlayStation, we know, like Gran Turismo and. What's the other one? God of War. We know like they're on the way.
Sure.
We know of a few things in Nintendo, but here's the problem. We only know those games that are far out because something went wrong. Like with Metroid Prime 4 and Bayonetta 3, like something went wrong. That's the only reason. That
now we have Splatoon. Now we have Splatoon. We have Breath of the Wild. So it's starting to fill out a little bit more. But yeah, like it's a matter of, and I remember thinking this right when the Switch first came out. Like Nintendo shifted their. I was talking about it as like they have like an inventory of messaging, and they've been very careful about that. Whereas I think with Xbox, they're kind of just like trying to give you everything they possibly can to get you to buy a box now. And Nintendo doesn't have to do that at all, and they haven't for 4 years.
Yeah, I said that about Xbox last year after that show when a lot of people were complaining about the CG and the lack of gameplay and stuff. I was like, guys, they just showed you a decade worth of software. Like they're not being made yet. They don't have anything to show you. Like they're just giving you a roadmap because they're trying to sell you on the promise of the ecosystem. Nintendo doesn't have to do that.
They don't even let Twitter take over on a Sunday.
Yeah, they don't have to let you know.
Have you been checking out Twitter at all today?
I saw all this stuff.
What is happening?
I almost like knee jerk against like the whole.
You seem mad.
No, it's just I've never liked just jumping on a trend like that. I don't know why. It just always rubs me the wrong way.
But it's funny. Okay, so the heart of it is, and for anybody who doesn't know, Xbox Game Pass is trending right now.
Yeah.
Mostly out of spite and out of people were mad,
and that's
because
that's the other part of it is
that's what I love.
It's console war bullshit, and I don't like it, so I'm not participating in it. And it hurts me that it's coming at me at the cost of being able to make Game Pass sales because I'm the king of that. But that being said, I don't want to engage in that crap.
Oh, but it's so fun because people are so mad.
Yeah, see,
they're so
like
mad that people are talking about Game Pass.
Yeah, but you got mad when the shoe was on the other foot. Like it works both ways, and I just don't like any of it. So it's actually kept me off Twitter the last 48 hours. Like I started seeing it last night, and I was like, I'm just done. I'm gonna turn this off for a while.
Maybe it's because I don't know exactly who is mad that I've disconnected a little bit from that. I'm not seeing like any of our friends who are like really pissy about it.
Our community is really not into that, I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying to think
It just seems like the culmination of a lot of people kind of have
chill in that regard. It's when you get into the dealer ran stuff like out in there, when you get Tim Dog and stuff, like that shit goes on all day long.
That's fair. That's fair.
And it's like I've been blocking that stuff for 10 months.
Well, and two, like I'm kind of poking in between the ribs of the people who are kind of upset about this, but I will side with them a little bit to go like, sometimes it is a little bit weird. Like, and you and I have talked about this, I think even on the show, where I'm like, how much time and effort did this person like put into this graphic that they're like, this is Xbox? And it's like, who are you? Like, what are you doing that for? Yeah. Like, and I've often looked at that and go like, is that what people expect from an Xbox podcast host or somebody who speaks like Xbox, is like that they take on like this, where the marketing part of the marketing team? Like, so I get that part. But it's just kind of hit this hyperbole at this point that I think is kind of hilarious.
Hyperbole is a good word.
That's mostly gaming, really, in general.
Yeah. Look, I mean, here's the thing. If you look at it, it works. Look what's trending.
Yeah. Like,
there's a reason that these polarizing effects like work. You just know me. Like, I've never been one to jump on like a podcast or a channel trend, and stuff like that. Like, I don't. That's true. I don't do the memes. I don't like whatever everybody's tweeting that's getting the reason. Like, I usually don't jump into that type of stuff. I don't know why. It's just a personal thing. I'm not saying anybody else that does.
It can feel cheap. Maybe it feels like easy.
I think you know that about me. To me, I don't like doing anything that feels that way. I don't like when podcasts go through like seasons. This is the whole thing about predictions.
Yeah.
When you get into that podcast season, like, this is what we're all doing, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do any of that.
Right.
Like, I almost just zag the opposite way of that, because I don't know. I just don't like that feeling.
I want to. Jace is calling. Remember Sean pre-summer 2020. I don't know. Maybe this is a semantical thing, kind of thing, but like, I feel like I'm making fun of Xbox on this channel, rather than like PlayStation coming at one way and kind of changing their tune. I don't know. I feel like this is way different than anything you guys are trying to call me out on.
Oh, I don't. You're gonna have to catch me up here. I don't feel like I'm. I don't think.
So I think what pre-summer 2020 was, when about the time that PlayStation was like, they changed their tunes on Generations or something like that. And then you and I, like, that's basically when everything happened with Kevin.
Yeah.
Like, you and I were both, I think, on the same camp. Just like, what in the crap? And it was kind of like console wars to the max. And I feel like that's a little bit different than what's happening today with the Game Pass being trending, because some people are mad.
And my thing wasn't
everybody talks about Xbox.
My thing was, like, if everybody's going to die on this hill and give it to me this way, well, when PlayStation flips, you should give it to them. Like, you do, do the same. And I think you were doing the same. We were just trying to keep people honest.
And the whole, everybody's got a gaming PC, which is great now, because like Ghost of Tsushima seems like it might be coming to PC. Like, everything's coming. I'm happy as heck. Yeah. I haven't got it yet. I'm not even
those
joking.
Jabs, those are those subtle.
I'm not even joking. I'm actually happy, and I've been thinking about this. Like,
hey,
jokes aside,
nobody can call you aside. You have Days Gone on PC. Like, you do it.
Well, I didn't buy it.
Oh, never mind.
I didn't buy it. But I was thinking about, like, where do I actually want to sit and play? Like, I think even though Ghost like is coming to PC, it does seem like that's the case. I'll probably just buy it still on sale and sit on my old man recliner in the other room, because I just don't know how much I actually want to game here. I'm here in this chair so much.
Yeah. No, I'm not doing
that. I feel like I missed out on that game though.
Oof. Ghost?
No, not even. Yeah, Ghost
is amazing. You definitely
I want to play it.
It's awesome. Yeah. I'm really excited. There's this rumor going around that they're going to release like a little standalone version. It's like DLC or a separate thing, maybe like a First Light. I am really excited for that, because here's the thing.
Yes.
I got through the first island in Ghost, and apparently there's like 2 more, and I was in that first island like 40 hours. It's like, I don't have, I can't do this. So just like Valhalla.
Is it that long?
I had a time with Valhalla. No, it wasn't that long. I was probably like 20 hours. I'm exaggerating.
Sure.
But like Valhalla, I did the Wrath of the Druids, which is basically a mini version of Valhalla. Like the whole thing, just a condensed version. You just play.
That sounds awesome.
Everything that Valhalla has to offer, you play in like 15 hours. That's exactly what I want for Ghost. Like, this Sounds awesome. Let's do
and
more.
Sucker Punch does that really good.
Let's do more of that. Yeah, First Light was amazing. Like I'm all here for supporting shorter games.
Yeah, that's a proud platinum, that one.
$70 day one.
Mm-hmm.
For
damn.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I'll do it for sure.
Yeah.
Ghost is great. You've got to play it.
Yeah.
You've got to play it on PS5 though. And I hate being that guy, but it's true.
I know.
Totally different experience. Like when you play it full frame rate, 2.1 HDMI 2.1, like play it on the nice new display.
This is my whole argument. Do we need these new consoles? It's like, well, I might as well ignore the PS4 release because I probably should get a PS5.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to spend $800 on it though right now, dude, because it's just bundles are the only options right now.
No,
anytime a link goes up.
I just bought one for Devin's friend this week. I just bought one.
But this might be like totally revolutionary or some sort of revelation. We live in different countries.
We're gonna start talking about Canadian stuff again.
Yeah, Canadian. yeah. Things are a little different here every once in a while. My brother dropped $750 on his PlayStation.
That's not bad. I wouldn't be that mad about that.
I don't know. I'm also thinking like a pro, but a pro is supposed to come too. Like this is the other thing. I'm like, I've got these
now. It's not any
Switch Pro. Sorry, Switch Pro. I'm sorry,
well,
that I totally wasn't clear.
Totally. Luckily for me, I didn't mention when I was whining about my air conditioning blowing up that I've had my Switch Pro fund, and it's all in gift card credit. So
yeah, same.
I couldn't use it, so it's like safe, and I still have it. So
it's there.
I'm very lucky in that regard.
Ryan says the price increase is surcharges for much more music existing here in Canada.
Let me ask
this
you
will
a
never
question.
die.
How far are you away from the border?
Pretty far. If I were to drive, if I was to drive, it'd probably be like 12-hour drive.
And buy a PlayStation and then come back.
It's definitely not like that. Like it's
dude,
probably. I'd actually Google it, but I think it's probably 10 hours.
Thousands of listeners across the globe. I'm sure somebody can get you one and just ship it to you, and you just pay them.
What? So for Extra Life
if you
last year,
told me, I posted in PlayStation, our PSXP channel. I was like, I have a pre-order through PlayStation. If anybody wants it, let me know. I could have just shipped you
I'm getting there, man. I feel like as soon as I pull the trigger, I don't know. It'll like they're eventually gonna have a smaller one. It's not gonna be in any short order. Like I don't believe that. But it is. Joe says he could ship me one. Here's the thing. Okay, so I really do appreciate that. That is actually very nice. Holy crap! I have a daughter here. You're not supposed to be here for podcasting time. Okay. Oh, we got ice cream here. Okay. Well, I'll come up in a little bit. Okay, you guys. This never happens on a podcast.
Adorable.
This is the first.
Look at her, man. Fedora and everything. Just crushing it.
They're all in pajamas right now.
Crushing
it. Lincoln, what's your favorite video game?
Mario 3D World and Mario Odyssey with the moon.
With the moons.
Smart.
Yeah.
Good games. Good picks.
Those are pretty. You like Animal Crossing too?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he does.
No.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Okay, maybe we'll play later.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Okay, go upstairs.
Just say Zelda.
Love you.
Stuff.
Oh.
That's us. You're on the internet.
No, Daddy.
Yeah. We're still recording. That's Sweet Hangs.
I'm not gonna
get an ice cream.
He's not gonna be scared if he sees Chucky or anything, is he?
No.
Okay, 'cause I was afraid he started pointing, and I was like.
I think he realized that he was on the camera. Like he loves seeing pictures of himself. Chelsea takes so many pictures they end up on the Chromecast.
I was just about to block him out. I'm like,
Yeah, no, we haven't done any tests like that. Joe says Link looks so much like Chelsea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably for the best.
No, of course.
Yeah, her side of the family, like they're very good looking people over there.
Are you?
Yeah.
My wife's side of the family, or at least my wife's mother's side of the family, ageless.
Yeah.
She's grandma. She's like 87. She looks like she's 55. It's insane.
Yeah, it's such a her dad passed away about 12 years ago now. Shame. Just the handsomest dude. Holy crap. His brother too's on TV. Like, yeah, nice. Very, very cool. Okay. Extra Life last year, I was the top fundraiser for Phoenix Overdrive, and I won a Nintendo Switch. Yeah. And I was like, that's cool. I kind of have a bunch of them already. Like, I'm not in any rush to get these. And then as time has gone on, I realized I actually just want another dock so that I could have one here for streaming. I could have one on the TV where I actually play, and then there's one upstairs where the kids play. Same. So finally, Lee Navarro, the captain of the Phoenix Overdrive team, he ships me a Switch. $92 in customs.
Yeah.
So... And that's for a $400 thing.
I shipped Haley the Last of Us PlayStation 4 Pro, and she said she had to pay like $150 of customs or something.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't even know this was the thing, and she was like, did you? Because at first she was like, did you not pay for this? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I went to the store, I gave them the address. Oh, that's
hilarious.
And I was like, this is what they charged me to ship it. They didn't say there was any extra fees. Like, I don't think that comes up.
They never do.
Yeah, I don't think it comes up on our side of the border.
Neither is same here. So when I ship things, whoever receives it and whatever country is like on the other side of it, they pay for it. And like they charge us at the door.
When you've shipped me stuff, I didn't pay anything.
Maybe I'm like undervaluing. Like maybe I'm
put that stuff in the mailbox.
Well,
it sounds like a Canadian thing.
It might be a Canadian thing, but I also think like I don't put the full value. What the box is. I think that might be something too. Where maybe people are being very
box. They're like, how much is it? You're like $5.
Like $20. Yeah, it's like it's something my grandma made. Like, don't look inside though. But it's probably not smart. I was like fingers crossed. I hope this gets there, and I know what it's like. Like you kind of get these a couple things have been shipped over to me, and it's like this is very lovely, but there's a bill here. Like we're gonna sell some Joy-Cons to pay for the customs on this thing, which works out just as well because we have so many of these things, so it's not a big deal. But to the point of getting a PlayStation shipped in from the States, like that would probably cost like $200.
Yeah.
For it to come on in.
It's probably not worth that much. I don't play my PlayStation 5 that much, and I would imagine you'd be in the same boat as me. You know?
Yeah. So. Ryan says, as someone who imports stuff from Japan all the time, it's always a mixed bag that you usually won't know till the day they show up. It's kind of silly. eBay has a good customs calculator. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I just feel like the other thing too is like when it's in store and I can just like buy it, then maybe I want that to really be the day that I buy a PlayStation, where I'm just like, I'm in the right place, the right time. I'm like feeling frisky. Purchase. I think, the impulse, like $600 purchase, which is outrageous, obviously. But I'm resisting that. Like, am I buying it just because like I won't be able to in 4.5 minutes?
Yep.
You know, like that's part of it.
That's a big part of the reason why I bought mine. I wanted to customize my faceplates, and everybody said you couldn't buy one. I was like, bet you can.
Yeah. Probably.
It's a part of it.
So I mean, I'm liking the simplicity right now, especially because I feel completely overloaded with games at this moment. Like I'm good. Mario Golf maybe will last me another week, but I've got the other Mario Golf that'll last me the summer.
Sure.
Monster Hunter Stories 2. I am really looking. Dude, I've never played one of these games before. I didn't know anything about them. This is a totally different like style of game than I ever knew.
You played on 3DS. It's like Pokemon meets Zelda, kind of.
3DS. Was it a 3DS game?
Yeah.
Was it never on? The first one was never on Switch. It was always a.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a dum-dum.
I thought for a couple years during the Switch era, I was throwing that out as a potential port. I was expecting it to be ported over. I never expected they just make a sequel. But the sequel looks beautiful. I still haven't played the demo yet. I might do that tonight.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Skyward Sword coming. You got No More Heroes coming. You're gonna get No More Heroes 3, right?
I don't know. You're talking me into spending money that I probably wouldn't otherwise. Like Mario Golf would have been, maybe I could have waited for it, but here we are.
Yeah.
$80 later.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never played any of those games before.
Well, you got the ports available to you. You've got the best versions of the games that you could play right now.
Yeah.
I wish I could give stuff on Nintendo. I would buy people No More Heroes.
You really would.
I would. I'd just start sending it out to people. Like,
I can't believe that's not a thing. Yeah. Dude, we just got in, apparently the websites for Nintendo were different from region to region. In Canada, like Nintendo.ca, we didn't have a search bar like a year and a half ago. Like we couldn't search for a game. You had to it was better to Google it then try to find it on. It was terrible. What is this country even?
I'm wondering that more and more by the week. More and more
I do a
by
pretty
the
good
week.
job. We do a good job of being pretty self-deprecating about it all. Like, it's all right. We're doing all right.
It's so funny because for the last decade, before I met anybody from Canada, I would have told you, like, everybody, that's like the ongoing joke here. It's like, man, things are getting bad. We should go to Canada. And, like, now, if I just run into any family member or friend that's like, maybe we should go to Canada, like, I'm going to correct them so damn hard and be like,
you don't want to deal with much more music?
I do not want to go to Canada. Like, where did this idea come from that Canada was some
act like
haven?
It's so repulsive thought.
It sounds like it is. Everything is super expensive and unavailable, and nothing works. And it's just, oh hell no.
Listen,
go to Mexico. Go anywhere else.
I'm telling you, what was it, like episode 0 or 1 or whatever of this show? We talked about the house party, which we'll have to talk about soon enough. I get my shot next week on Thursday. you guys should come up here more often because you live like kings.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
telling you, it's worth it. Your dollar goes like 30% farther. Like, what are you thinking? Like
Joe,
the dollar.
You're not gonna buy No More Heroes 3? Why not? Why is nobody gonna buy No More Heroes? It's amazing.
Tony says Sean's doing a bad job of representing Canada.
Everybody does a no. It just representing Canada is a bad job of representing Canada. Like when you just learn how Canada, you're just like, oh.
How?
Just no thanks. Just
oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I take that personally.
Sorry.
Don't appreciate it.
Sorry.
Story.
I'm sorry.
See, you're more Canadian than you wouldn't even notice a difference. That's the best thing. You'd be like, oh, the traffic signs are a little bit different. But that's
until
about
until
like the speed limit.
Turn on a TV and I'm like, hey, I want to watch MTV and start. Oh God.
When was the last time you turned on MTV?
I want to go watch. I want to go buy a video game. They're like, that'll be $150. Like, what the hell's going on here?
And you're like, cool. How about you take my 40 American dollars? And they're like, awesome. We'll take that. Yeah. Look how much because it goes that much farther. Dude.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well,
like your dollars are worth a lot.
I'll save up and then
they're not the same.
Do something like that, I guess.
Joe says 9 months ago he would have gladly taken a trip to Canada. Jaded Low would love to visit Canada. See, thank you guys. That's making me feel a little bit better. We're not very good at like selling our country. We're just like go hockey, and we've got like beavers on the back of our nickels.
Then, like if you listen to Haley, it just sounds like a train wreck up there. Like just
what else are we gonna talk about? We make fun of ourselves a lot. We're not the type to go like, well, isn't it like? Also, how often do any of us go to the hospital and tell you about? Well, no, everything COVID's paid for you guys too, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Like
yeah.
you're not coming into expenses through COVID. Yeah.
Not unless
you actually have to,
unless you're
you're in the hospital.
Yeah, but I imagine that's probably the same in Canada, right?
No.
You
mean you can be in the ICU for months and it's like no, nothing.
Wow, that's a sweet deal.
You don't. It's a good deal.
So there's a trade-off.
Right. Yeah, I think so. We still got it. We have most of the we have internet. You know,
apparently not. According to the Nintendo website, apparently not.
We don't have internet. Search bar. It's basically like what did Stadia just add a search bar
Stadia
to their
just
system?
Added, like year 2. They're like
basically
you can
that.
finally search your games. You're like, you've got to be kidding me.
Amazing. Like that headline. Like they probably just wanted to sneak that in there. Like, can we just like not make a big deal about this? Because it's like they had to know. That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like so I subscribe to YouTube Music. You cannot search your own library for a song that you own. Canada is the Stadia of countries. Wow, that is so true. That is so true.
It's not true.
It feels that way. No, it is because it's really good, but it has all of these little paper cuts that by the time you're done with it, you're like, I'm good. Never mind. We're good. You can keep it. You're like, but it works.
I can say the same.
It works better than everything else. You're like, it's not worth it. It does work, but it's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Oh man, I feel like maybe America is the Nintendo of countries. You don't even know why you're buying it anymore. It's just everybody else is buying it.
Well,
all these things that everybody else has. You got multiplayer and free healthcare in all these other countries. Who cares? America's great. Yeah. You don't even ask why.
That's truer than it's not.
Kind of. Yeah. Like I didn't know if that was gonna land, but
it's not true.
Not true. Mm-hmm. It's funny. It's not. Xbox is more of like a Russia.
Oh God, maybe we've got to get off this. Nope.
Okay.
This hard turn. Let's segue into anything else.
Anything. I'm trying not to drink as much Diet Coke right now. I've got this.
I'm drinking Diet Coke and rum. So,
dude,
I'm putting more of it into my body.
I think I just need to steer clear beer for a little while. That makes me really sad. That's where I ended up just drinking rum to begin with.
I've never liked beer.
Let's give me some gut problems, man. Mm-hmm. Give me some issues. So what? Well, I mean, you're not coming to Canada anytime soon, but I think the borders are opening up at some point. When do we start talking about like visitations? Like I think things are going to happen. I think I might just show up at your house one of these days. You're
welcome to come here whenever you want. I would imagine the next time you come down would be for Phoenix Overdrive. Like you'll come.
I think Extra Life might happen.
Yeah.
I don't know anything officially, but I mean it's in November, and it seems like things are just. It just seems like very sudden.
Will definitely jump up. I mean, your team of folks that do that are very committed. So I'd imagine if there's
you should come.
I'm not going to do that.
You should come. Well, you don't like Rome, New York either?
No, I like.
Is it too close to Canada?
I like New York. New York's a lot of fun.
Come to Jersey, says Babbitt. I've been to Jersey a couple times. Jesus, Donnie.
I've been to Jersey twice, and I don't ever want to step foot in New Jersey ever again.
Oh my God, they got Wawa. It's pretty good.
Wawa. Out of my way to drive around New Jersey.
Well, that's kind of how it works. You'd have to go around it if you're not gonna want to be there. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'd love to just make this a thing for Extra Life. So. Who cares? Just come.
And do what?
What do you mean you don't do it? Just play games. Yeah.
No.
You don't have to stream. Not everybody streams.
No, I don't need to be there. Like, we have people there from PSVG that are actually there and do it.
But it's all about the hang. You just hang out, and especially like we've got old man strength. We've got dad strength, so we can just we can stay up all night because we'd never get that opportunity.
Babbitt,
right?
I drove from Atlanta, Georgia to Newark, New Jersey to watch the Cavaliers draft Kyrie Irving in one day. So that was my experience as I drove from here to Jersey. I went to the NBA draft. I met the owner. I met Kyrie. We drove into New York City. We got pizza and we drove back. And I never, Newark. You never, ever want to go. I'm from Cleveland. And people make fun of Cleveland. And then, like, here in Atlanta, there are some parts of Atlanta you don't want to be at, like, after sundown. And none of those things compare. They pale in comparison to Newark, New Jersey.
You really wouldn't. I don't think you really would like Canada. You have you're sensitive to the differences. You're like, what is this place? You just can't.
Dude, Newark is
Joe says Newark is not good at all. I've only experienced the airport. I've only experienced the airport.
Real bad. It's real bad.
It's an impressive airport.
New York City. I love New York City. It's an absolute blast. Yeah. I've got to get back up there sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I was gonna spend money to go to New York, I'm definitely not going to Rome. Nothing against. I would go to New York. Like that'd be the point of going.
No, I think I'm gonna be there. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the whole thing of us coming out of this is I kind of want to just see what opportunities there are. Now there's PAX that's happening, and they're like, cool. If you don't have the vaccine, all right, come on in. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, you can't restrict people. I've heard a lot of people. IGN was making fun of that this week, actually. Here's the thing. If there are state laws and HIPAA guidelines stopping you from enforcing or checking if somebody has vaccination, well, then you might as well not put it down or anything. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right.
They're doing exactly what they can do. And if you are vaccinated, at least by our numbers, it's so remote that you have nothing to worry about. Go to PAX.
Probably.
Have fun. You have nothing to worry about. Like, it's shocking how effective these vaccines are, actually. We know how effective they are. Like, we got all the numbers when they were being made and everything, 99% more effective than the flu, but like, proof is in the pudding. What our numbers have done since we started deploying vaccines, just thwarting this thing. That's a good point. Face, just crushing it.
Yeah,
so,
that's very, a good and like an actual deflection. Like, I just don't want to catch it, not have the symptoms. Like, that's fine. Like that.
Our doctor was showing us data Friday. Now this is just he's looking at the data and taking a postulation that I'm sharing. I don't know if this is proven by the CDC or anything, but the effectiveness of people that have gotten COVID and then get the shot is so overwhelming over not having the shot in even getting it. There's a lot of people that are like, I got it, so I don't need the shot. And it's like, when you look at the numbers, the numbers empirically say no, you still need the shot. Get the shot, because it's just, that's how good the vaccines are.
I'm looking forward to it. It's such a weird thing. Chelsea's getting hers tomorrow. I'm on Thursday, so we're gonna be all set.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't know you guys hadn't already got them yet. We just got.
Yeah, I got my first one. I got my first one a while ago, and then the kids are too young at this point.
I got my daughter right before we left for Florida. She got hers.
Yeah,
me and
she's
my
okay.
wife have had ours. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, Lincoln actually, he got a test today. That's why we're doing this a little bit later. He did really good with it.
Good.
Apparently, that's right.
The nose swab.
I mean, did the nose they tickled his brain? Yep.
Dude, there's some people that cry and stuff about that. So
I've watched kids do it. When I got mine done, I saw this kid.
People.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's intimidating. It's definitely going to be more of a mental thing, And Lincoln's a lot like me when I was a kid. Sometimes I just didn't even know what kind of danger I was in. I'm like, this is fun. It's dude, you almost died.
Dev says you were in New York City a month ago, but you went to see family and stuff. You didn't go to New York City. So when I'm talking about New York City, You're out Times Square like 2 or 3 in the morning. You're going to the Comedy Cellar. Like you're out at the bars. Like,
ooh, I want to do comedy in New York. Yeah.
You know, like that's New York City. Like going and meeting people at their house, that's not New York City at all.
Yeah.
That's chores. That's awful. Nobody wants that.
Yeah. That was my first time going to New York. Was we went for a U2 concert. We saw a Jets game. We did we went to a Yankees Red Sox game. Like it was, we're staying in or on Times Square. Like it was at a Crowne Plaza. Like it was so like we had that experience where you're either going home
when
at
you get like
4 in the morning,
fresh made sushi at 3 in the morning, and you're like, this city's amazing.
Yeah, it's something. It's and it's funny because like when I went there, I was like, I would like to live in New York City. Like that was my mentality. I remember thinking that I had that specific thought on the flight, and then coming home, I'm like, I like living where I live, and I like going visiting
it's a bit
other
small,
places.
It's a bit fast for my
and not
liking,
worth it.
But I really love visiting. Like a weekend is perfect. Like a 4-day weekend in New York City is amazing. It's a great way to spend 4 days. But after about a week or so, it gets a little old, and like I'm ready to leave.
Yeah, I think you kind of go in. It's I imagine that's what Vegas is like because I've never been to Vegas.
I haven't been to Vegas,
but it's just overload. I'm kind of terrified of Vegas. I'd like to go now. I don't think that I would necessarily overdo it now, but there was a point in time where like all my friends were going.
Like
what's that?
Let's do it. House party in Vegas.
Dude, that would actually be. That would be. I mean, Grouchy's house. We're going to Grouchy Surge.
He said he'd cook, right?
Mm-hmm. Actually, he did say that. He's promised a lot of people.
I've never been to
food.
PAX. Since the house party got canceled, Dev and I have talked about it. We've thought about trying to pair a house party like thing with PAX. It wouldn't be the same kind of thing because the house party idea is like we're gonna like be kind of funny for like 3 days.
Yeah.
But like PAX is like I think it would be a lot more fun because maybe it'd be more chill.
Yes.
And we wouldn't be so focused on the production.
Yeah.
As we would just be like, let's all hang out together, have fun, and then we'll like record a podcast at night and just see where it goes.
The way I see it is, why does it have to be one or the other? Why not do both? I think both could happen.
That's why it's just a lot of work.
I get, yeah. I probably would eventually get to that same realization as you. Like I'm just so like excited by the thought.
Like,
I just want to go
about it. Yeah. So you're like, we're gonna be live all day. Like let's do it. Like you live in that mindset. And when I want it, like that was the whole idea of the house party. But the more and more we've done it, the more and more we've worked into it. It's just kind of like, I wonder if that's what at least our folks would want from us. I'm sure they would like to see it, but I think just like we could just release the podcast together actually in the same room.
Yeah.
And just film them live. Like we don't need to be on air 24/7, type of deal.
No, because I mean I was at Bobby's house for days, and I don't know. Maybe we did one stream. I actually can't even remember.
Yeah.
And that was we recorded a podcast together. That was kind of it. Like it's not like we're on air the whole time.
And that's what I was thinking. If we went to PAX, right, then it'd be really cool because we could work a lot of that in. Like you almost have natural things to talk about in addition to doing your regular things.
Yeah, like what did you do? What did you see?
So we were looking at I think it was PAX. It's like in Texas, right? Dev, was it Texas? Oh, see, Babbitt says PAX East. Isn't that New York? I don't know where these things are.
It might be Boston.
My wife loves
West is in Seattle. Is coming up. I think that's the one that they just announced.
Isn't it?
West is coming in September. No, Boston is east. Seattle is west. And I'm pretty sure it's coming in September.
I think Dev and I were circling Texas as maybe being a place we could maybe do it.
Texas would be, to me, it's all the same. Like those flights are not going to be much different. I don't think. Like it's not a distance thing like that. Sure. Which never really makes much sense to me. It actually cost me more money it would cost me more money to go visit Ryan Turford, I think, than go to Texas. Mm-hmm. Like flying within Canada is actually very
Texas
very
is
expensive.
Just like really big and easy to like find a place. Right? It's much
harder. PAX Prime is Texas.
It's much harder to find a place in Boston for 10, 12, 15 people. It's a lot easier to find a place in Texas. You can get a house in Texas pretty easily. I think that was the big reason, maybe. I think.
But Texas is a big place. Like
I don't remember where
we've narrowed it down. I know that's
Austin
just what
or something. It's probably Austin.
Austin, Texas, yeah.
Austin
that
like
seems
a PAX friendly place.
Austin seems like that's where everything's happening now. Like
Austin is
a bunch of comedians, like
very hip place.
Everybody's going to Austin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Elon Musk is the mayor of the city.
You're talking about Tom Segura?
All of them, yeah. Joe Rogan, they've just all left LA. They just kind of had enough with California.
No, yeah,
but
California's got its own issues. Ryan says the same.
It's in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Go to Georgia, says Jaded Low. You should go to Georgia.
Why the hell would you want to come here?
I'd go there. I don't care. Like that's the difference.
MomoCon?
Dude, I've been to like Rome, New York. Like I flew into Syracuse, I think.
But we're talking about like going to an event. Like there's no event here.
Sure.
Dragon Con.
Yeah.
You know,
was it Dragon or Momo? Were you at MomoCon? Was that the thing?
MomoCon, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Austin is a new tech hub. Yeah, like there's Austin I hope it's a big deal.
Suda51 comes back to MomoCon. I gotta get him to sign my Switch. My No More Heroes Switch. Like that has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Then it'll be complete.
Hey, but how do we make this actually happen? Like now we're kind of getting out of this like this fog of COVID where like wouldn't it be great if like we could actually like travel, blah blah blah. Like that stuff is changing.
No, like Texas, I'm there. That's easy for me. I'll probably drive. It'd be a nice trip to take the Challenger out on.
How, dude? Oh my god, so much gas.
Oh, no, I don't give a crap about the gas. Garrett Blaine hates it. I'm just revving the engine, exhaust, just let my kids figure out how to solve it.
He didn't even like how many paper towels Bobby was using in the bathroom, let alone gas and mileage and everything.
I think it was something. It was so funny because he was like, "See, this is why we need to go electric." He was showing some data or whatnot, and I just came out of nowhere with a big picture of my Challenger.
It's so bad. It's so bad. You should. I don't know. We probably shouldn't laugh about it so much, like killing the planet. But like, he's probably right. He's probably just gonna be like.
I get a lot of enjoyment from driving my car. It makes me feel much better.
This is the voting with your wallet mentality. Like, should you be part of the issue or part of the solution or part of the problem? I don't know.
But yeah, like Kevin told me after we talked about the house party a few episodes ago, and Kevin was like, "I'm all in." I think Josh said he was all in. Now, whether or not they were all in to drive to Ohio versus Texas, two different stories.
Yeah.
But I think Dev and I are pretty committed that, like, if we do PAX, like, Dev and I will be there. And I think at least a couple other folks will be there. So if you're there, like, we already have a crowd. Like, that's a party.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, we get an Airbnb with a big-ass house, and we go to PAX, and we have fun hanging out, playing demos and stuff. And then we come back home, and we sit around the table, and we record podcasts.
What is a PAX vaporizer? I just searched for PAX, and it's all the top results are vaporizers. What the heck is this? I don't want. What is Penny Arcade? I want to find out like what can we actually book if we want to. I will fly anywhere. Ryan says I will fly wherever y'all want to as long as I can get off work.
I don't even know when the next PAX is. PAX South.
I'm sure it's Seattle. I'm
Seattle I'm not going in the fall, and that's soon, right? Like that. That's
not September.
Happen. So when is the next? See, PAX San Antonio.
PAX
more info coming soon. So I don't think they're anywhere close to. Yeah, it'll be a while.
So PAX East is July. It's even sooner. July 15th. It's in like 3 weeks.
Look at here. So this PAX, I don't know. Is this last year? Because this appears to have happened in January. PAX South was in San Antonio. It says 1/16. Like, is this now or is this last year?
I don't know. I should look at when it typically, because Seattle's coming back same time of year as always. Canadian search engine is broken, probably. Joe says I'm going to buy a ray gun in Texas. Yeah, I mean, there's that part of Texas. I mean, Texas is a little scary. As a Canadian, a good old, mild-mannered Canadian, you look at Texas.
South 2021. It's a little early to reveal our plans for PAX South 2021, but we think you're going to be really excited. So it looks like that's the thing. It's January. January might be a little soon for some of our team, but maybe not. We can start looking into it. I'll have to round. That's the other thing. The first of the year, I don't know how, because like we were originally planning doing the house party in the summertime when people are more apt, I think, to vacay. So the question is, like, are they still wanting to do that in January? I don't even know. Is Texas a good place to go in January?
Texas has got to be a good place to go in January,
right?
Sure.
Like I know Texas, Oklahoma, and stuff like they get cold. Like they get winter too.
There's got to be somebody who lives in Texas who can help us out with this.
Callow.
Like, what's the? Who?
Callow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's from Texas, I think.
I mean, Johnny Casino was in Texas. He's in Seattle now. Give me a couple of people that we can talk to. It says PAX South 2021 wasn't able to be together, but we'll bring it back in 2022, says Dev.
Yeah. Something to think about.
I'm impatient about it, though. Like you say, like January is too soon.
You're just a natural planner. Like I tease you, and it's meant to be in fun. I hope you don't take it too personally, but you just there's something about like a twinkle in your eye when you get the idea to like build a calendar or a spreadsheet. Like I can see it. I can see The gears start
dude,
to move.
I'm not even spreadsheet. I just want to go.
Something starts to happen, you're like, let's get it on. Let's spreadsheet.
I don't. You're right about. I'm not even thinking about it.
Like I'm waiting for you to always.
I just want to book the flight.
In my head, I just want to book the animation of you. You're just there with like a clipboard, and you're like, let's do it.
Ready
to
get
to work.
Yep. There's lots of. Thing about that is. Then there's message boards. Like I like the scheduling of it, but then there's all these like people get confused, and then there's this thread, and I go away for 30 minutes, and comes back, and it's just like
an ice storm in February. Yeah, I do remember that. That's when Ted Cruz went to Mexico, right? It was hilarious. Like half the state was without power and whatnot. So yeah. You may not want to go there.
Goes to Mexico.
Maybe want to go somewhere else. Maybe a different path.
That was like once in a lifetime, once in a generation storm. Like that wasn't that the whole deal about it? Was it like totally caught them off by surprise? Like it's not supposed to happen.
I tailed it out of there. I couldn't imagine voting for a governor like that. What a train wreck.
I mean,
I don't want to do politics, but Ted Cruz is a train wreck.
That's kind of an obvious
I got into like a shouting match with my father-in-law. After the insurrection and everything, because he was a prominent Trump supporter. And look, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I voted for both. So like, I don't really, I have nothing against anybody that's conservative at all. I get some of it, but I was making fun of him about the Trump stuff because obviously, come on.
Because obviously.
Right. Because obviously. And he sits down, and I kid you not, he came over to my house, and we're sitting on the porch, and I hand everybody drinks. He sits down, and he goes, yeah, I can't believe all that's happened. He looks at me square in the eyes and he goes, you know who I like? You know who's got a good head on his shoulders?
No.
I was like, who? And he goes, Ted Cruz. I was like, the fuck no. Like, I yelled at him. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Of all the names, I was like, he's worse. He's so much worse.
Oh, my God.
It almost ripped the
Let's go say hi. Let's go say hi. I just want to pick a thing and just like do it. Like that's basically where I guess what you're seeing, it like maybe if it is a twinkle in my eye, is we're at the end of this. I'm getting my shot. This is like the marker.
That's happening in America now. Like traffic flights, like we don't have enough people to like get people through the airport. Like everything has gone. Everything is just booming.
It's just back.
Everybody's got money. They're just dying to spend, go anywhere. Like they're all on the move.
I think that's the funny thing I'm seeing. I saw somebody tweet out like going back to normal is expensive. Like we've been all saving money, like we haven't gone anywhere. Like we're not going to movies. Like I haven't bought any clothes.
I was having a really good year until my AC went out, and it really kind of just like put me right back where I was. I was like,
yeah. Damn it. We lease ours actually. Ours is on like we pay for it monthly.
Our air conditioner?
Yeah, we don't actually own it.
Wow.
Like we have this like, which is awesome because I wouldn't have been able to drop whatever.
How much do you pay for a lease on an air conditioner, if I may?
It's like $60 a month or something like that. Maybe 70.
That's a lot.
It's like a rent to own type of thing. Like eventually we will own it, but we never dropped. Like we never.
It's just not a part of the house. Do you own the house? Like you're mortgaging and buying the house?
Yeah,
right?
We own the house. Yeah, mortgage the house.
So this is in addition to the house payment.
Mm-hmm.
That's strange. Maybe they put a new one in, and like you're just financing it. That's what it sounds like.
No, it's that we watched them like install it. Like we only just got it a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Actually, maybe this might even just be the second or third summer with it because I was at my new job when we did it. So yeah,
I feel you bad.
Dude,
I've used a lot of the money that was going towards my student loans to pay down my debt, and then my AC exploded, and I just add all the debt back. So
student loans?
No, I've been here in America. They forfeited. You didn't have to pay student loans all year. They just federal swipe. They're like all student loans are postponed. You don't have to pay them.
Yeah.
So I've been using the money that I otherwise would have been paying my loans with.
But you still have student loans? I guess that's what
I have.
I
owe Mercer. I think I'm down to like $15,000 now. I owe them $15,000.
This America that you keep talking about. That sounds brutal.
You have free college
That sounds
in Canada?
Terrible. We don't have free college, but nobody's stuck with student loans for their life.
$15,000
Jesus.
isn't bad. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that leave schools owing them $100,000.
That's what I'm reacting to. Is what I keep hearing about
smart.
this. Like,
I went to a state school and got my undergrad before I went to Mercer. Mercer's a private school, so I don't even get like tuition and stuff from the state for that.
Jason knows all about this stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
America is student loan debt. Yeah, says Dev. That's crazy. That's insane to me. I owed over $80,000.
But here's the thing.
Oh.
Look, again, I guess we're going to talk about it, so I can't even say not to get political because this is somewhat political at this point. Here's the thing. You don't have to do that to go to college. You don't have to owe anybody 80 grand. It is a personal choice. Now, a problem is
that's how I feel.
A lot of kids at that age are not smart enough to realize the ramifications of that choice. That's a different topic. But you don't have to spend 100 grand to get a college education.
Oh, Dev. Oh my gosh.
You could go to a different school. There are other schools that are much cheaper, but here's the thing, in America, there's a lot of prestige with the school you go to and whatnot, and people don't want to do that. So if you want to do that, then yeah, you pay a lot of money to have that on your resume.
Good God. Well, we all just say like, good job, eh? And that's kind of it. Some of us go to college, some of don't. Trade schools are a way to go. Trucker sloth, you're right about that. I kind of wish that I did that, actually. I'm happy with my career, but I saw a bunch of my friends get a real great head start. They all, plumbers, electricians, everything. They're making 100 grand like a year out of school and like made money while going to school.
Sure.
I'm like, holy crap, that sounds pretty decent too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to go to PAX. I'm going to go to Rome. I'm going to be there. I'm going to get back on. I'm going to be on tour, man. Like, this is what I'm looking forward to. I'm going to be leaving the wife and kids.
Bob Hope of podcasting. Yeah, you're just going to leave and go have fun while she stays and manages 2 kids.
Thing is, the precedent's been set. You know, we've done it before. Do it again. She's actually, oddly enough, she's taking the kids next weekend. I don't know what the weather is going to do. We're in this, like, tires are melting. It's so hot up here. Because Canadian tires, they have a lower melting point than American tires. That's how it works. That's science. We're in this heat wave, and we're not sure. But the plan is she's going to take the kids to go visit her aunt in Saskatchewan. So I could be here all alone. Like, this happens a lot. Like, she's much more capable than me with the kids. I go a couple hours.
Every now and again is probably a good thing.
Hmm?
You know, I like it when my wife leaves. I said a break every now and again is a good thing. I like it when my wife kind of takes off for a little bit and I'm home alone for a few days.
Heck yes.
Nice.
I might even get a house cleaner so that, like, you know, I clean the house, but like I'll just stream the whole time and I'll have like somebody cleaning the house for each comes home. It's perfect. I think it's a great plan. I might even we'll do a little like GoFundMe, you know, stream. I'll do a 10-hour stream and pay for my house cleaning. How do you think people would react to that?
Dev wants to know how hot is Canada?
I'm trying to do the translation. I think I saw 100, 105.
That is hot. That's real hot.
It's hot.
Yeah,
it's
all the way up in Canada, huh? Wow.
Even all the way up in my Canada. Like, I'm in like upper Canada. I'm in like the tundra.
Antarctica.
Yeah, basically. But like the northern Antarctica.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Canadian penguins. In what Celsius? It was 35 today in Celsius. So that's hot. It's like scary. Like for us, it's scary. Like you get out there and you're like, oh my God, like I don't know if my kids are gonna survive this. Like you kind of like get your son in doses. You're like, okay, that's enough. Like let's get everybody into the shade.
Sure.
A little bit like that. That's enough.
Be smart about it.
I mean, part of it is like my mom had skin cancer that was detected very early. They had it removed and everything, which is very, very lucky. But it's in the family, and yeah, she used to like. She's of that generation, just like. What do they throw butter on themselves like Kramer? Just like they just want to get that sweet tan. It's just like that's disgusting. Like protect yourselves.
I have
Holy
the Kramer
crap.
portrait on my wall.
Oh, the turkey or the
the
where he's just standing with his hands in front of him. Yeah,
I've got that one on the wall.
Dev says it's 107 and that's a normal day. That's the thing. Like that's this is there's warning. Like I open up my phone and there's warnings. Like stay safe. Like drink your water.
It's
and all
no
that
different.
kind of
like
stuff.
here in Atlanta, like when it snows and it's like 13, it's like a national emergency down here.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their own climate things to deal with.
It's just funny how, that boggles my mind a little bit. Like, why? I don't know. I guess it's just what you're used to.
What do you mean?
But like, there's health. Like, do you get like health? Like, the idea is there's a health warning out right now. Like, don't go outside. You could die. Right. But it's no hotter here than it is what Dev's saying there. Like, it's 107 degrees there, and it's a normal
but they
day.
acclimate to it. They're used to it.
To the point where like it's not a health hazard anymore. Like that's
a different thing there. It was probably a different. It can be the same temperature and feel differently.
Yeah, that's true.
That can be its own thing as well.
That can be a thing.
Yeah.
Jadalo says you're in Atlanta. You are 4.5 hours from me. Yeah. Well,
hey,
we're gonna post Donnie's address. in the show notes.
Who's Jaded Low?
She's in our she's in the Yumi Capri Discord. She says good morning to everybody every single morning. Lovely. Okay. Yeah. Definitely don't get a health warning.
We can have lunch.
That's the thing that I'm stuck on.
Or I can give you recommendations for lunch if you ever come to Atlanta. Go to the Blossom Tree and get Korean tacos, my favorite, with the dumplings. Fantastic.
That sounds good. Well, I mean, you and I met for a couple hours at a time.
We're in America. He's talking about Canada. Like this show has been long in the tooth about Canada.
Is that the deal?
Probably.
You're not nobody, Jada. You're lovely. That blows my mind a little bit. That it can be so much hotter or as hot, and yeah, we're all gonna die up here, and you guys are totally fine.
Much more hot.
Much more hot. You're so proud of yourself with that one too. Every time it presents itself. Yep. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man. We should never tell you anything about Canada anymore.
It's too late.
No, there's more to tell, but we might just.
I used to think I wanted to go. It's like, man, I bet
no,
it's
you
so
didn't.
Nice
you never would have. You never would have come up here.
I was golfing. Like, there's lots of nice golf courses up that way.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And Canada's a big place. Some places are better than others.
Mike Weir, national hero.
National hero. Yep. Right alongside Kurt Browning. Doug Flutie. You know who Doug Flutie is?
Yeah, I know who Doug Flutie is. Are you kidding me?
I know. Oh, I always wonder. Like that's Doug Flutie's a good example of like, he was a big deal up here. Then he goes to like
Doug
second
Flutie's
string quarterback for like Buffalo or something. I don't even know where did he go.
He played for Buffalo and he backed up. I think at the Patriots. Didn't Flutie? Yeah, Flutie was the man.
Flutie Flakes. He started. He eventually. Oh, maybe he did. Well, started for who? Like the Browns?
No, not the Browns. We would have been good.
Chargers. Oh, look at that.
That makes sense. Chargers.
Good for him. He was a big and he looks Canadian. Like we. Like I think for the most part,
Talk
like
about me making fun of Canada. You guys make fun of Canada way more, and this all got started.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
You guys were being mean to Canadian bands. Did you ever look up The Band?
I did. It's on my phone. It's a great song.
Dude. The Band. They're a great band.
I'm a little embarrassed about that. I'm sorry, dude.
I couldn't believe it.
But Doug Flutie looks Canadian, just like all the wrestlers y'all love. Like they're born out of Calgary.
Like every wrestler is either from Canada or Ohio, and I don't understand why.
Which is
or Hawaii. Obviously, you get all the Samoan folks, right?
Samoans.
So all the Hawaii folks, Canada or Ohio. It's so strange and weird. It's like,
it's a weird sport
that cultivate wrestlers.
We got we have the carnies just training each other's to be.
And it's like,
but here's the thing,
it's like super popular in the South, like Texas and Bama and Georgia, and there are some people from that area, of course, but not a lot, not as many
in Mexico.
In comparison. Well, of course, the Luchadors, proud.
The Luchadors, yeah.
Yeah.
Is Shawn Michaels from San Antonio? Is he?
I don't know. I mean, that sounds right.
He's definitely not from Calgary.
I think he's from Texas.
He's far too handsome to come from here.
Like all that hunting and stuff. Yeah, that sounds right. I wouldn't argue with it.
You can just spot him. Like there's a Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold, like clearly not Canadian.
Right.
And you got the Hearts. Texas. You got Jericho. Like he even says. What does he say? Bobby used to talk about it all the time. It was again. He says again and again and again. Like that was a very Canadian thing. He doesn't wrestle. Chris Benoit was one of my favorites. I don't think we're allowed to talk about Chris Benoit. That's where I'm from.
Met him.
Chris Benoit went to the high school where I was supposed to go.
I skipped
over. I went to a different high school. So did I.
Got a Moe's.
Got an autograph from him at West Edmonton Mall.
Behind
I met his wife and kid. As sad as that is.
Wow.
It's awful. It's awful to think about. I don't know who wrestles anymore, says Dev. Anyway, so PAX might be happening. I don't know. You want to talk about wrestling?
Just do a wrestling podcast.
I don't know if I'm the most. I could talk about like 90s, like a very little brief instance of wrestling. Maybe the most time that it's actually worthwhile.
You got
to
watch
about,
the
Attitude Era.
The Mick Foley documentary on A&E.
Which one? I feel like there's a lot of Mick Foley.
They just did a new one.
I watched that.
The first documentary they've done on him in the last 20 years.
What is he doing? Like, is he okay?
Yeah, for the most part.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he hobbles around, but yeah.
Yeah, he always did, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, he wrote his books and stuff. Like, yeah, he does tours. You can get his autograph and picture and stuff. Which, I mean, come on. Like, if I was gonna get my picture with somebody, probably Mick Foley.
Who's your favorite like character from Mick Foley? You got Cactus Jack. You got Mankind. Who's the other dude? Dude. Yeah.
My favorite, Dev nailed it. My favorite time of Mick Foley's career is definitely the Rock and Sock Connection.
Yeah,
that was prime Mick Foley at his best.
Ryan is so stupid. Like that's what I would do. Like I think I would be like the Mick Foley, and like you'd have like somebody who's just like trained their whole life. like really, really good at it. Like it's kind of like that's kind of like what we got going on here. You know, you're good at podcasting. I'm just kind of like, this is hilarious and dumb in Canada, blah, and I'm just like dude in sweatpants and a mask on his face, and you actually like you're good at it. And you take it seriously and stuff. You're I don't know, you and I you're the Rock, and I'm the Don and Sean connection.
Well, I mean, he's the one that made the team. The Rock was just there, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. The Rock was great. What are you talking about?
The Rock was great, but like Mankind made that show. The Rock was just The Rock. You know,
The Rock reacting to him was just the best. But just like,
his
I can't believe I'm stuck
were
with this
just
guy.
The Rock. Nothing changed. With or without The Rock and Stock Connection, The Rock was the same. Mankind is the character that changed. The Rock and Stock Connection were great. You're talking about one of the best teams ever, and one of the funny things that documentary does go into, something Mankind brings up all the time, is like, name like your favorite match from them, and like nobody thinks of it. Had nothing to do with the matches. It was all it's all about the promo. Nobody gave a crap about what they were wrestling.
Yeah, well, because like let's be honest, like even the wrestling unless like Mankind was getting like something awful happening to him, you know, which Mankind got a lot of those.
No, that's where you're wrong. He was an excellent wrestler.
But in terms of what you remember, like, do you remember I remember this technically excellent match that Mankind
and ECW is some of the best wrestling you'll ever watch. You watch
more
Mankind,
than
Sabu,
like him like getting thrown on the
Terry
tags,
Funk and stuff. Well, I mean, there is the hardcore element. That's what he's known for sure. But it's his storytelling, the storytelling that Mankind would take you to in the wrestling ring. It's not just the high profile stuff that he's remembered for. A lot of people remember a lot of his feuds because of the storytelling. Like he's one of the best at not just selling and getting you like invested in the character, but like he just had his natural charm that made you want to. He's like the true underdog.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
It made you just want to root for him.
Ryan, I don't think anybody has any idea what. Ryan says it's official. Sean is the Tommy Tallarico of this podcast. To Donnie's Victor Lucas, which I don't think like lands at all for anybody in America.
I don't know who those people are.
Yeah. So there was a big like. You talk about G4 before. There was a show here in Canada. Victor Lucas and Tommy Tallarico did reviews on the run.
YouTube guy that you've been on with a few times.
Yeah, I like Victor Lucas. He's a sort of an icon in video games, but in Canada. Like a lot of people in America don't.
I've seen that like you've tweeted and stuff, and I've clipped on this stuff, and I've seen that he's like very popular and stuff. Is that the same guy?
Same guy, yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
Tommy Tallarico now is doing. What is he doing, Ryan? He'll help me out. Is he doing in television? Like he's leading up like that Recharge or that new television console that's coming out. I don't know if you've seen this.
Much more games.
Amico, yeah, in television.
He's
Amico.
not doing the Amico.
To me,
I was
Tommy
just
Tallarico.
making fun of that the other day.
Oh, it's an awful idea. I don't know what he's
Are
thinking.
you serious? How is this this is the second time it's come up in my life. It came up in my YouTube mentions last week, and I posted in our Discord. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's a bad idea. Tommy Tallarico is, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith? Mm-hmm. Like he's his cousin.
That's what he's famous for? He's Steven Tyler's
cousin? And then he did like this live, video game music. Like they go on tour and play video game music and like concerts and stuff, which was really, really cool. Like he's very prolific. Like he's just kind of like he's done a lot of different things. Video games live. Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
Video games live. God, man. Canada with their
He's not Canadian.
Oh, okay.
He's not. That's the funny thing about what Victor Lucas did. Like he brought in a couple guys who weren't.
Like every time I get just a very generic on the nose description, I'm like,
yeah.
So Canada.
Video games live does sound like a Canadian thing, but it was
I'm telling you,
the cousin of Aerosmith.
When I decide to depart Shaq and I roll all of our extra podcasts into one, I already told Dev we're gonna call it Much More Games. That's gonna be the podcast name.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it before.
If somebody doesn't beat me to it, I'm gonna do Much More Games.
I'm gonna beat you to it.
Me, Dev, Elaine, and Delvin, just talking games all week long. Much More Games.
Too bad. We're getting to the point where I think we're gonna have to like incorporate. I saw the Iron Lords. They got like an LLC for Iron Lords podcast. Well, you know what? We're gonna have to do that for Yumi Capri, but we're not gonna call it Yumi Capri LLC. It'll be called Much More Games, featuring Yumi and Capri.
Well, then we'll have to come up with much more games than Sean.
Much more game than Sean.
Much more games than Sean. Podcast.
Much more games is a great name, says Tony. Tony might take it from us. We're still sitting here podcasting. Like these people could actually do it.
Like
it's not such a good idea.
It's so hard to find a podcast name to begin with. Like, don't take Much More Games from me, guys. I came up.
But don't you think? Like, I feel like
it's like The Office, right? Verbal TM. It's a verbal trademark. Can't take it. It's a verbal trademark.
You just took it from me?
You've done it.
Damn, is that a thing?
Games. That's a thing. Done it
in America.
If you've watched The Office, verbal trademark.
Damn it, you got me there.
There's an episode of The Office where that's really, really funny. They're interviewing bosses, and Will Arnett's character chose to do a verbal trademark on an idea that he had.
Verbal trademark.
He's like, I have an idea that'll save your company. And they're like, what is it? He's like, I can't let you know. You haven't given me the job yet. It's like, how do we know you have the idea? It's so stupid dumb.
It's so good. That's what everybody's thinking. Like, everybody would love to pull that off in an interview.
Right. And he says something like, I don't know, like flavored Post-it notes or something. And he's like, he goes,
flavored Post-it notes.
And he goes, verbal TM. And they're like, what?
That's a good idea.
What do you do? He's like, that's a verbal trademark. You can't use it. It's done. I'll sue you. They're like, did you just trademark an idea in a job interview? He's like, that's a contract.
It's perfect for Will Arnett too.
It is. It was really.
Oh
really,
my god, just
really
deadpan.
Good. It was really good.
I want it. I want that. Play some video games is I feel like even better now than when it started in terms of just like it being a good saying. Like I don't know. I feel like it just.
I think a lot of people thought it was dumb when I created it.
Yeah, like you couldn't come up with something better.
Yeah, I got a lot of
like play some video games.
I remember when I started. I got several people that thought that about the name. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Coming at you just like
not coming at me, but like MTCG was never like shy of letting you know what they thought. And I remember when I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing, play some video games. They're like, play some video games? Stupid. But at the time, you try finding a video game domain name. Like it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
If there is an item that exists in a game, somebody already has made that a podcast name or a website. And then they've added, what are all of them? They've added talk, chat,
cast.
live, cast. They've added all of that to the end of it. It's like it's been done and done and done and done and done and done. So it's hard.
You nailed it, man. And really, credit goes to Elaine. She actually was the first one to like build it into like the outro of the thing. I feel like that was really smart. I really like that. Until next time, play some video games. It's like, oh, that's the name of the movie. Yeah. When they say the name of the movie, and you're like, that's
we used to do that. Like in the early
I think it's great.
We used to do it, and then we just kind of the PSVG caught on so much that we just kind of went with that.
Sure, yeah, and I think part of it is that maybe a lot of people don't realize that PSVG stands for Play Some Video Games.
I don't think a lot of people do. It definitely, after about a year or two, the brand PSVG way overtook what the domain ever meant. Nobody cares. That's why I normally don't even bother to even mess with it. Who cares? It doesn't really.
I've said Kevin did it on Prime.
Yeah. We used to do it for like the first year or two. We did it all the time, but like I said, it never stuck.
Big fan.
Elaine just kind of resurrected it, but I always liked the name and the reason I liked it is because it's something that I think people naturally say. People tell each other
it comes up all the time.
Some video games all the time.
Let's play some video games.
So I think that's a cool thing, right? So that's why I did it. But there was also during the NX days, that website that leaked it was like really, really close. I think they were like Play Video Games or something like that. It was really, really close, and people thought we were the same thing or something. Which is also, that happens from time to time.
Then you have to tell them about your verbal copyright, verbal trademark.
It's trademarks.
You were
because we made fun of them because I think they were Let's Play Some Video Games, and we were playing some video games.
Oh, that's too long.
And they were like, people would tweet at us, but they'd mean them or something. So I was having fun with it, and I was like, that's our European branch. And I would just like tag them from time to time, and we just kind of joke about it. Names are so dumb and silly, and who cares?
It really is. Like, and that's the thing. You obsess about it for so long, and then
do you think it really
people just end up calling it the thing anyways?
It's really just the podcast that Sean is on, the podcast that Donnie's on, the podcast that Dad
Dude, if we're gonna talk about this, Yumi and Capri, what even is that? I think about that all the time.
That makes sense because it's how many podcast episodes have you been on where somebody named the episode title Yumi and Capri? I mean, that's a play.
That's true.
That's a play on the movie.
That did happen a lot.
That makes sense. Yeah. There's actually like marketing reasons for that.
But it has nothing to do with games.
So?
I guess I don't know. I guess that's the point. Is it really doesn't matter. Like, don't even have to have games in there. You don't have to have bit or cast or whatever.
No,
doesn't matter. Just making friends along the way, man. That's kind of all it is. I want to do. Man, There's a lot of games. We had a lot of fun on stream a couple nights ago, just like games that are coming out and who's buying. What was that even? I love those kind of weird conversations that kind of just come up just out of nowhere. You want to do it? Maybe we'll do it next because I want to do like the rest of the year.
I have $80 in Amazon credit.
Yeah.
That I'm now stashing. It's like I got one more game in me. Because I'm gonna have to tighten the belt here for a little bit, and I've got like one more game in me. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna spend it yet, but thanks to Game Pass
something back there
and game sharing and my pre-order habits, like I'm good for a while. This was actually like not a great. There's no know if there's ever a great time, but like this is not gonna affect my gaming a whole lot early on.
Yeah,
you know.
Jay says Danganronpa. I already bought it. I'm gonna play it.
Definitely not Danganronpa.
Switch collection on $100. Oh, for you to spend your $80. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
But I've already got most of the Switch games done, and all the Xbox stuff comes in Game Pass. I'm through Game Pass through like 2025.
Game Pass is the best deal in gaming, Donnie.
Right.
I don't know if you knew this. It's like, shut up.
I hated
It'll be like the Kirby. It'll be like bring up Kirby to Bobby. And we're out.
I hated that this started trending like literally the week that I did my whole Game Pass sales pitch to my AC folks. Like they were all in on and loving, and I was like, "See, this is so great." And then it becomes like a meme, and I'm like, "Oh, now I hate everybody for that."
Amazing. What I'm actually kind of laughing at is just like the marketing team, just like laughing the entire weekend.
They're just doing their job.
Like they're gonna come back to work the next morning, like because they're not even working over the weekend. They're gonna come back to work and just like, can you believe this? Just outrageous. Like that's kind of it's a marketing team's dream, really. Is you take the weekend off, you're relaxing,
really good job
trending on Twitter.
Yeah. They're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
That's been a thing for like at least like 2 years now. They've been pretty solid with that.
Mm-hmm. They won awards for like that monkey tweet, like the reactions, like when Brad Sams leaked the S. Like they won awards for that, like how they handled that situation, how the social team handled that situation.
Yeah, they've definitely cultivated like a community following, I think, out of it. Like, you know, they've let people in a little bit.
Yeah.
They're not so corporate and like neutral, you know. Like we know who's running the accounts. They make inside jokes and stuff. Like if you're following it, it's very fun. It's almost Devolver-ish, as much as like a giant corporation could be. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You could definitely if it was Devolver, they'd probably take another 10 steps beyond.
Exactly. Right. No, it's as close to that as it could be. And it's such a far cry from like Nintendo, PlayStation. You know, it's very just corporate branding. Like here's the tweet,
what even is happening over there.
Here's the basic information, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to like quantify that sort of thing, like what the impact is. I think that would be interesting to find out because it's like, there's people are actually talking about it. People are probably buying things based on it, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it just makes people feel good.
But I often just try to chalk it up, and maybe this is just overly dismissive. I don't think Twitter matters a whole lot. I think Twitter is a very small sample size.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that level, like Microsoft level, at PlayStation level, Nintendo, I care less with people. And Twitter, that's such a small amount of people.
That makes me want to find and I don't know if Reddit is where all the people are, if that's even just like another. Because I don't really do Reddit at all.
I've started doing Reddit. This year, in the year of COVID, I've ventured over to Reddit a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more people on Reddit. I think.
Yeah, but are they all saying the same thing?
Much busier. No. So that's the difference. Is that the way that like their threads are working is that there's a conversation happening on Reddit, where Twitter is just more like a stream of thought.
Yeah.
You know, there's no real conversating back and forth. It's just endless streams of thinking. And but there is like news application. There's news happening, but the majority of Twitter is just like, I have this thought. It's like unfiltered thought. It's like, here's just a picture of me and my dog. Here's a cat. Here's a meme. I'm making dinner. Like it's just thoughts, right? Just endless amounts of thoughts going up on the page. Whereas Reddit, the way that they organize their thread and have everything embedded in a line, it's very much like something happens, right? Event, reaction to the event, reaction to the reaction. Like you don't see like so much randomness, I guess. It's much more organized. Yeah.
That is the opposite kind of impression that I had of Reddit. And maybe the biggest thing is just that it seems like just a lot.
There is a lot.
Like I don't know how to sort through that.
You have to, you got to kind of learn how to navigate the streams, but the streams are actually and like the mods, that community, and I'm talking about this I'm not like a Reddit power user, so This is just my impression off of kind of the experience that I've curated myself.
Yeah.
But the mods in the communities that I'm in on Reddit are very, very sticklers about, like, you talk, you stay on topic, you stay in the thread. Like, if you start doing this shit, they'll just block you and kick you out, because, like, that's how the whole system is built.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you can have a conversation in there. Like, it's fine to have a conversation, but the conversation, it's almost like it's all centered around the subject. Right? It's focused. You know, like, there's a subject and there's a purpose for why you're talking here.
Just like this show.
The opposite.
Or the opposite. or the opposite.
Yeah.
When do you even do that? Like, people often talk to me. I just did a tweet, like, we've got content on our Patreon basically every day. Sunday we take off. We don't have anything going there. And somebody's like, when do you even have time to poop? I'm like, what about me? Like how do you have time for Reddit on top of, like, everything else you're doing?
Like, you're the one that's on 18,000 shows. Like, I appreciate you.
I do it at
the thing
lunchtime.
me, but at this point, Sean, I'm definitely doing the least amount that I've done in the last 4 years at this point. And
which is saying something.
Actively probably looking to do less. Like, doing even less going forward. So,
yeah.
Like, I feel like you pointing the spotlight on me on this subject is very
My shows are short, number one. 2 of my shows happen over my lunch break while I'm in my car, which I'll be going back to. That's another thing I've got to figure out, too. Like, we sold our car when we went into lockdown. So we went down to 1 vehicle for our family here. And now that I might be going back to the office in some capacity.
Because of the lockdown, or?
Yeah, it was it was actually about this time in the year. It was about June when I looked at my car out front. I'm like, the only reason I'm in this thing is to record a podcast. Like, after we had locked down in April, it had been months before I'd even gone anywhere. Like, there was one point where I went for a drive and I went maybe a couple miles away. And at that point, after months, it was like maybe 4 or 5 miles. I'm like, this is the furthest away from home I've been since April.
Wow.
Like, it was like, I had this, like, realization. And we're just like, we don't need the second car. Like, it's insurance, it's this car payment and everything. So we sold the car.
Come out of lockdown. Like, you didn't even think you just need it later? Because you could have postponed the insurance and the maintenance and stuff. You could have just parked it and not paid for that stuff.
We were leasing it, so, like, it's not like we just owned it. So we just, like, offset the lease. We sold it. We didn't lose any money on the lease. Like, it was a great financially. Like, it made so much sense. But now we're here, and, like, also thinking, like, do I actually need a second car? Because, like, that was part of our conversation as well. Is I take the bus into work, really. So we're legitimately looking at, if we actually get a second car, the biggest reason is so that I can record 2 of my podcasts while driving into the bus stop or to the train station.
Not a reason to buy a car at all.
It's pretty dumb, but it did have me looking for a 1989 Celica. Can't find them. No, dude, you know how old those cars are now?
You need the Ford Capri. We've been over this.
I should get that. Yeah, like, it could have a little bit of fun with it. And Chelsea's like, well, if you get an older car,
Sean,
kids can't go in it.
Actor Capri like my car.
That's the saying. See, I could have gone in a lot of bad directions with it. Yeah. Dev says public transportation with a emoji, but this is my reading and switch time that I've missed out on a lot.
The idea of driving to work and not focused on the road and not worried about traffic and not being stressed out sounds...
It's awesome.
Like, that sounds amazing. I wish I could.
Yeah. Like, walking, especially on the way, well, both. Like, in the morning where I'm like, I'm tired. I can just be a zombie. You know, I get up, go for a shower, just get myself to the bus, and then I can sleep if I want to. And on the way home, like, it was just a really nice kind of disconnect. I missed that a lot. Like, that was definitely part of the adjustment when going into lockdown, is I didn't have that anymore.
I get
that. The X-Bus drive. Wouldn't that be something? God. If I started recording a podcast, screaming, "Hey, everybody, it's me!"
Some guy in the
on
back.
a bus.
Shut the fuck!
It really would. I would walk on those. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to bring your attention to, I'm going to record a podcast. If you'd like to contribute to it, you can put dollars in this hat or go to patreon.com/ubcapri. And then I go on to it.
That'd be hilarious. You have guests.
That'd be fine.
Rotating third chair.
That's the other thing that I think about too, and I don't know if Tony's still in the chat here, but here we are. Vaccinations, everything's happening. The world is opening back up. Turns out there's a lot of people who live here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, who I could legit swing by their house, pick up, like, we could go grab food, and they could be on the show, man.
That sounds funny.
It sounds like kind of the comedians in cars getting coffee or whatever it's called. Yeah. but different.
Canadian charm in the Xbox Drive.
A little bit different, yeah.
For me, I mean,
you'd be like,
you asked me how I have time to Reddit. I mean, it's just browsing, browsing the other website.
I want to like shadow you for like a week or so. Like Why? Just like how you get it all. I don't know. You get stuff done, and I'm very impressed. Like even on the like, there'd be like a day where I get to the end of it. I'm like, I haven't been on the Discord at all, and I'm like, damn, I feel bad. I feel bad about that. And then I go over into like other Discords. Like these guys are here, like active, like focused. Well, your point about Reddit.
PSVG, we love the Discord. You know,
it's amazing. It's actually amazing.
It's a big part of our community. Yeah. You know, we may not be as big as others, but we are very active and we talk. And
you're a good place to be. Like that's why you continue to grow.
I don't think that I would like. Yeah, I mean, if to turn it off would go, I'd miss too many. You know, like I very much enjoy checking in with Dev. You know, every morning. Those are my friends. So, you know, I think that's a big problem. Like I'm not on Facebook. Discord is kind of like my Facebook.
Same. I don't have Facebook either. I mean, I do, but I never go on.
I don't even have Facebook. So Discord is kind of like my Facebook. And the Reddit thing, just trying to keep up with the news, is very, very hard curating Twitter. I've tried multiple times, and Reddit is just an easier place to get some of that stuff from.
Mm-hmm.
They do a much better job, I think, of collating like things together in one place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an easier place.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah, it's just an easier place to keep up with.
Yeah. I don't know why I think about this
often,
in this.
Man, I swing by once every other day or so, just kind of check in, make sure I'm keeping myself aware. You know, I feel like when it comes to my podcast, I think we're way more like scripted, and like I tend to, I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice if I just like roll into it. You know, like, you know, it's like a responsibility to try and keep up.
Well, and if you don't have a Ryan Turford, then you really can't. Like that's like
that's a part of it. I do all the notes, you know. That's a part of it.
You're the knowledge base, and it's so funny. There's sometimes where, more often than not, I like to come into an episode as like knowledgeable as Ryan might be, at least on the topics that we're talking about. But every once in a while, I'll be like, man, I didn't even look at these notes. Like I legit don't have, and you can hear it. Like he'll tell me about like this is the news that's happening. I'm like, are you serious? Like that's amazing. Like I'm like playing the part of the audience, like a little bit. Like that's awesome. Like that's just where I'm at right now, man. But Jose in the chat says I'm too hard on myself. I'm getting a lot better at that, man. I'm getting a lot better at it, and it's part of it. I credit Donnie to a lot of that too. Like I'm throwing out the rules. I'm just like whatever happens, and it's all like I'm not quite
that conversation that we had. It was like 3-4 years ago. I feel like you've referenced that thing like 12 times.
It's like how many conversations do I have with people? I'm not often referencing every single conversation I have. Like that was a memorable chat that we had, just like the memorable chat we had as COVID was breaking out. And I'm like, I think Chelsea's having people coming on over here for photo shoots. And you're like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You just cancel that shit. Send them home.
That's why. Well, and so I mean, part of it is like when I actually talk to you, like that's the one thing. But on a podcast perspective, I think that's why people gravitate towards you. Like when you say things, like they matter, like they seem to land. Like I'm not just being nice. Like that takes too much energy. Like that's how I remember the things. That's how I recall them. They seem to like they're sticky. Like things that you say are sticky, at least for me. And I think that's probably what other people are experiencing when they listen to your podcast as well. I'm just loud.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Well, I don't know how I would either. I would have deflected or something.
TPR says, I feel like Empire Pod is more freeform than a lot of other platform-centric podcasts. I like it for a change of pace. Well, that's interesting.
You guys do a wonderful balance of that, like where you're like, this is a topic, and then you really like you do the exploring. I often talk about how I like to explore, but you actually take the space to do it, and you totally.
That's the only way I think I know how to do a show. It's like, here's the news, here's what everybody's thinking about it. Well, let's talk about it. Explore the space.
Yeah.
Sean, explore space.
Explore this. What is that? That's a thing.
It's cowbell.
Explore this. Oh yes.
Explore the space. Really. Explore the space.
Explore space. Oh man, I used to like to think that I used to do a pretty good Christopher Walken.
I could never.
Walken and Connery.
But Walken, I mean, that's if you can do a good one, that's top.
I can't anymore. Like, and who knows if I ever could? But I used to think that I could.
So good.
People would ask for it for my Walken impression. Not going to do it.
Then.
Patreon goal.
Yep.
You
just do an entire episode of the Xbox Drive. as
Dude,
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken.
That's
why I think like the whole like voice acting thing is so underappreciated. Like anybody can do like a line or a word or something like, oh yeah, that sounds like that guy.
Dude.
Do a script.
Troy Baker. It's nuts. My wife and kids still talk about. So when we were at MomoCon, they did a skit play where it was like improv, and they all had to like basically pull from a hat and on the fly just be characters. Yeah. And the characters changed like 8 times through this little skit play. And like, he just went from like the Joker, he did a Christopher Walken, and he does like, you know, just all kinds of different stuff, like stuff that's not
like
even characters, like the character from Frozen, but if she was like a 50-year-old male from New York and stuff, like dumb things, and nailed every single one of them.
That is amazing.
That is something that I'm actually always in like almost astonished of.
Yeah.
Like when you hear Troy,
like improv.
When you hear Troy Baker like sing in character, you know how hard it is.
Oh my gosh.
To sing, and then you sing in a completely different voice and a completely different octave, and to like hold notes.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time, like how hard is it for him? Like Joel is such a leap in range from Troy Baker's natural voice. That I feel like it would almost be stressful to talk as Joel for so long, but then to sing as Joel.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the dude gets paid tons of money.
I know, and of course he's like good looking as well. Like you couldn't just be his voice, like his vocal range. It's like also very, very handsome. Like come on, leave some for the rest of us, right? Troy. Jose says I do a funny Borat. Everybody does a good Borat. My wife.
Hang on a second.
Good times, man.
So the TPR guy, he says people don't realize how talented is it ProZD or is it Prozid, or do you know?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. ZD.
Yeah, I actually met him because of Jace in the podcast. He made me go He made me go ask him a question at MomoCon. And I don't know who this person is. I still don't. And he asked something like, ask him what's better, like live love or live love or something like that. And I apparently didn't even pronounce it correctly and just got laughed out of the room. So Jace has that. I will never forget that name because of that. And I did tell him, I told him, like, I was like, look, I don't know who you are. I don't even know what I'm about to ask you. Like,
my God.
I have a podcast. We have a listener. They love you. They would like me to ask you this question. And he was like, sure. And then I just completely borked it. And he was like, it's okay. He's like, I appreciate it. And he actually told me, he's like, I actually appreciate your candor. He's like, you didn't come up here and act it. You just basically just flat out told me, I don't know who you are.
That's kind of, I don't know if that would be refreshing or insulting. I guess it depends on the person. Like people who are known.
A lot of times people will find that insulting about me.
I would think so as well.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot.
Years ago, I sort of like walked backwards into a competition with some local like radio hosts, like some radio DJs and some TV hosts who I'd just frankly never heard of before. So like I wouldn't be able to like pick them out of a lineup. And at one point I did meet this person and I'm like, so like, how do I even say your name? Like, I don't know who you are like at all. And I think she kind of appreciated that it wasn't like another person like, oh my God, I love you. I watch you every day on TV, whatever. It's like, that's gotta be a little much too.
I think that's why I go out of my way to be like very openly blunt, honest, and like get to it as fast as possible. Just to let people know exactly, you know, because I am that way. So I kind of try to get that out of the way so it doesn't come off so, because I've definitely insulted people. I've completely left dinners where like my wife's like, they hate you. I'm like, what?
Really?
Yeah, it happens to me a lot. Yeah, so that's my wife.
But is it surprising to you? Like you're like,
that's the thing. It'll be completely. I'm completely unaware. So a lot of times she'll filter that for me a lot. Yeah.
I appreciate that about you a lot, though. I think I know. I'm pretty sure I know exactly where I sit with you. Like I don't think you're ever like pissy. I mean, we've been there, so
yeah. I was gonna say,
we're not there now.
If I had something to say, I'd let you know. I think everybody in PSVG has probably had that moment with me.
I think I know how you feel about my country. So there's that. I think we've been pretty clear about that. ProZD is a game anime skit YouTuber who is actually a professional voice actor. He voiced Flack in Borderlands 3 most recently.
Yeah, I knew that. I mean, I read the brochure. Like I knew
did he have to be in
did something, but I just
Borderlands 3?
People didn't like that one, huh?
Nope. I wish I did. And I bought it. I mean, I think we talked about this. I bought it on Xbox thinking crossplay was coming.
Borderlands is one of those things I never got into. So, like Destiny that way, I'm kind of glad to sit on the sidelines. Mass Effect.
I don't know. There's
the thing about playing Mass Effect. I might
you're gonna hate it.
I might try.
It would be interesting. I would love to pick your brain about it, but I think you need to. It's a game you need to like learn or have an appreciation. I think for about the lore, and I don't think that you're in for that. Like I honestly don't know if
Elaine told me to play the second one, and I never played the second one. I only played the first one. So
second would probably be more for you actually. Like the first one is more like have an appreciation for the world building and these species, and there's anytime you have like all these different races coming together, like there's an allegory for
it's gonna drop in the Game Pass at some point. I'm probably give it a try.
Yeah, it's too risky for me to specifically like recommend at full pop. Yeah.
And if it's not,
I'd love to hear your take on it.
I'll just leave it, and you'll probably never hear it. If it's not for me, I'll just move on.
I've never played a Yakuza game ever, or Yakuza, however you say it, and I'm trying it thanks to Game Pass, and I really, really like it. Like this is one of those examples we talk about a lot, where I'm like, I just want to have like my arms completely closed or my mind completely closed to this.
I wonder if they could ever like buy that series out.
Yakuza? Why not just buy Sega?
I think Sega's a bit too far. There are a lot of business reasons why you can't acquire Sega. Now you could create like some sort of exclusive partnership with Sega. Like I'm wondering if they couldn't like Bayonetta Yakuza.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good way to put it.
This Yakuza is Xbox now.
It always feels like kind of like a few of those studio acquisitions did, where it's like it is a big deal, but it's like it's not the biggest deal. Like Yakuza's fine.
Oh yeah.
So like double they acquired Double Fine, and there was like Compulsion Games. There's a couple in there that was just like, I mean, that's a baller move, but you didn't really like sign the starter. You didn't sign an all-star.
I can give some of those back.
That'd be a fun chat to do.
Looking at you, Undead Labs. You can go now.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like that's exactly one of them. So, yeah, a little bit.
I say that, and people hate that so much.
People seem to. I mean, like, did they need to be purchased?
I don't get it. That's it, man. I'm like, I play the game. I'm like, this is one game I just don't understand. I don't get why people love it, but there are people that do.
I don't know.
I played Sea of Thieves this week.
Sea of Thieves was like #1 on the Steam dollars sold list this week. Like it is banging. That's a banger.
I did the Coach Mo Uber service. I got him to drive around. I sat there and did foolish, stupid things, and we went and met.
See, I think I might be closed-minded to that one. I don't want to be, but I think my reality is I don't think I'm going back to it.
We went and met Jack Sparrow. We did it. It doesn't change my opinion on the game really at all, but
at least you did something noteworthy while you were playing it.
Yeah, you gotta
apparently the ride is there. Apparently you can like experience the entire like Pirates of the Caribbean Disney ride.
Yeah,
somewhere in the game.
That's what Coach was telling me. Like the part of the thing apparently it mimics the ride somehow. I've never been on the ride. I don't know. Right.
Yeah, that's exactly for me. Like I maybe could experience it in the game. I wouldn't even know. Maybe if it feels like a ride. Alice is probably Sega's best dev right now, I guess, as TPR. Probably. I don't know enough about like Sega's lineup, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, definitely.
Like to whatever. Like I feel like it was maybe it was Podcast Beyond, listening to those guys back in the day, where I actually started to think like Beyond. Maybe I should know something about the devs.
Sorry to interrupt you, but you listen to me?
No, you're fine.
I've really, really grown an affinity for Podcast Beyond the last 18 months.
Really?
Since Dornbush come back, like I'm all in. Like I'm really loving the podcast.
I did have a love for him. Like he's very sweet, actually. Like he's kind of opposite.
I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, like I fell off when everybody left for all the reasons we can't go through, and I tried to stick around. And Max and Brian have grown on me, but I feel like so much of their stuff is so like same. I don't know. It just never like resonated. Like wasn't what I was seeking. Dornbush comes back and he just throws in, and like they had was it Lucy?
Yeah.
So like,
Lucy O'Brien.
Yeah, him and her, they come back in and then they kind of mix other people around them off and on. But whatever it is, that mix has been hitting with me. And for the last year or so, I've really, really enjoyed Podcast Beyond again.
I tend to like a lot of consistency, which is really funny because I talk to somebody new every single week on We the Gamercast. But part of I think probably the biggest reason I fell off of Beyond was just because it was like, where even is the show going? Like there were so many changes after everything kind of happened.
Sure.
And I kind of stopped sticking around for the changes. But maybe like now they watch me jump back on, and Jonathan Dornbush will be the next guy I go like, I'm working with Twitch now, or wherever Zach Ryan went off to.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that. Podcasting is personal. You get to know the host.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like that's a part of it. But I just wanted to give a shout out because I kind of sneak it in every now and again. It's like I really enjoy it. They did an entire episode this week about like this past week's episode was like 40 minutes of them going on and on about how about Game Pass, really.
Yeah,
because the internet's going on about Game Pass, and Brian was like going down the PlayStation needs a Game Pass, and Jonathan like pushed back, and they just had a 40-minute good conversation about that model and what it's doing to Sony. And I was like, this is great. Like, I love the show. Like I was definitely I was in my hot tub, had a drink, was listening. It was just, I really enjoy the show. But as I interrupted you and I didn't hear what you said. So
I don't remember what I was talking about.
Where were we going before that?
No idea. Jose reiterates what I was saying. No, that's fine. Jose reiterates that I consistently talk to someone new every week. Well, and that's just the thing. Like, I'm not the listener of my own podcast, which is kind of an interesting space for me to be in with We the Gamercast. Is that like I make a show that I would like to listen to, because I listened to like Mark Maron back in the day. Like that's really where it came from. There's a couple shows where that is what I like on a 1-to-1. I guess maybe that's the key difference. If that's the design of the show, is that it's just a 1-on-1 and you're going to like learn something or discover a new person. There's another show I listen to called The Honeydew, which is comedians kind of getting together in a similar style show. I like that one. But when it was Beyond, specifically when it was Beyond, where it was Colin and Greg, and then they brought on Garfab for a while, or Goldfarb for a while. That was so consistent, and then it was just like such a jumbled kind of mess that's kind of where I was like, I don't even know if they know where it's going. It didn't feel like it was a confident product, and sometimes you can just sense that as a listener, whether or not you're specifically or consciously recognizing that.
I'd almost say the same thing about voice chat.
Yeah, I spilled off of that as well.
NVC has just gone through host after host after host after host, and
I think you sense that in a way, and I think that's probably why like Empire has struck such a chord with audiences, because like after so long, like it's such a difference from the origins of that show, where like finally it's got like some
it couldn't be any
people
more
got expectations.
Well, it's my show.
Well, yeah,
it wasn't my show, but when I came over to letting it go or keeping it forward, it's like I had to take it. I was like, well, if I'm going to take it, and this is what we're going to do to it. Like, I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it my own. I'm not going to stay true to what you were doing before me. I wouldn't know how to do that. And maybe
that's
those
the case
other
study
shows,
on consistency.
Maybe those other shows needed it. But yeah, I always hated that about Empire. I hated that for the longest time. It was definitely our least consistent product, which probably made it our worst product.
Yeah.
And it was hard because at the time there was just not a lot of enthusiasm, which I understood, which I also didn't like. But we had fans. There was not as many of them, but we had fans that wanted it. So we tried to keep it going. It was just on life support for like a year.
Yeah.
And that's when that's why I jumped in, to be honest. Like that's why I even got in it, because it was really was to me at first it was Nathan came up with the name, but it was really a Q. It was Lobo's like show, and then like Mo would mix in and I would mix in and Nathan would always do there, obviously, but then as more and more people left, it just we needed to do better for those listeners. So
well, and I think it's something like, you know, you always hear the questions people ask, like, what advice do you give to new podcasters, blah blah blah, and one of the constant and common responses is like, be consistent and create some consistency. And I think there's more to what that actually means than just like you have to do it week after week, or if it's month after month, like whatever. There's more to it. I think there's like the host, the style, the format. Like I think there has to be more to it.
You build a connection with folks. This has always been my thing with PSVG is I don't believe in podcasts. Good podcasts build a connection with people, and it becomes familiar, and it needs to keep that familiarity, or you'll lose people. That's why when you have a transition, when you lose a host, that's why it's so hard to transition, because there'll always be somebody that says I liked it before or I liked it after, Like it always, it's inevitable.
TPR brings up a great point. Consistency is quite broad. There's a fine line between familiarity and staleness. And that is something that I think about quite a lot across all of my shows. Because I think you and I have talked about this too, where like when a band comes out with like their first album, it's just like amazing, right? And then all of a sudden, maybe there's like a sophomore slump is a bit of a thing. Like you want to still be as adventurous and courageous and out there as the first album was, but then there's expectations and you want to be consistent. Like is there that thing that kind of takes away from that spark in the beginning? And like the Xbox Drive is I think a good example of this too, because like it started out as just like a who cares? We're just doing this show and I'm in my car and I was using my headphones from my iPhone as my microphone. Like it was such a who gives a crap kind of show, but I think there was that was part of the charm of it too. So as the show has gone on and turns out people actually listen to it, and then Xbox started to listen to it, like I was really trying to be mindful of, okay, well maybe we should be serious, but like that's not what the origins of the show was. Like that was never really the intent, was to be like this thought piece type of show. It was always meant to be kind of, you weren't really supposed to know what was going to happen. Even though we knew we were going to be talking about Xbox, it still had like the limitations of it's going to be 45 minutes or so and we're going to talk about Xbox. But and even the fact that I get the drive through every week, like that is the one thing that I think about constantly. Like I feel like I need something else, but that's that fine line that TPR is talking about, that fine line between familiarity and staleness. Like is it stale now? Like
the stale part is if like something will feel stale if you're just not digging it.
Yeah.
Like what's to keep a brand new podcast from not feeling stale? Like I think that's your connection to the host. I think that's the familiarity. That's what keeps it not feeling that way. Like if you're just not into it, you're not actively listening, and what they're saying isn't meaning anything to you, then you're gonna be like, then it's noise. It's background noise.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on like what you're looking to get out of the show. Like oftentimes, like back in the early days of Beyond, like I would actually like laugh out loud. I would be like clutching my gut, laughing. And so I would be like looking for that moment where I would have like a good laugh while listening to Beyond. So I think it's just, there's that with whether it's laughing or you're going to learn something new or whatever it is. Maybe it's just you feel like you're sitting around the campfire with these guys or these people talking about the same thing. Like you're just that community. I think staleness could also present itself as too much structure. Like if it becomes a task for the listener to get through A, B, C, D, E, F, part of the episode, rather than just having fun along the way. I mean, I
agree with that.
What this flies in the face of. Yeah, this show flies in the face of that.
Like my shows have a loose structure, right? We're going to intro, we're going to do a little bit just to like warm the juices. We're going to bring up some topics and answer some questions. But that's about as much structure as they have. We're going to go anywhere and anywhere from anywhere those topics are going to take us. Yeah. We might argue, we might all agree, like who knows? I have no idea when we get into it. It's very much just to kind of keep us focused.
And I think there's a couple of examples of podcasts that do it like more structured, because like we work off of show notes. Like there is a structure. So there might be saying like, I mean, we have that, but there's definitely, I get that point too. I've listened to some shows, some big shows actually, and it's just like, how many segments does this thing have? Like, and now it's time for this segment, and now it's time for this one. It's like, holy, like, it just felt like totally disjointed from all the great chatter that was happening before. It's like, well, and Ryan kind of jokes about it on the Xbox Drive and PlayStation. Like, we're going to slam the brakes on this conversation. It's time for breaking news. It kind of like throws that in the face of it a little bit. It's a bit of a inside baseball kind of joke that we have of no more of that. Like, we're done. And that's really the only time I think that kind of happens. Usually we try to be a little bit more flowy, I think. Don, I think it's still 35. It's actually 30 degrees still outside, and it will be until 10:30 tonight.
It's so cold, Sean.
I know, it's freezing. We got to put our parkas on, everything. Do you have time to talk about Pokemon Go? Did you ever get into Pokemon Go?
For a little bit.
I think I might get back into it. I've told you this is the year. I want to almost like bring this up every once in a while. 2021 is the year I get into Pokemon.
Dude, and I think year to do it.
I think it is because the kids being the age they are.
Sword and Shield.
I hope so. Well, I mean, I just hope for a great fun game. I don't know what that game. I didn't really play it. I have no benchmarking really, but I've been meaning to do this for a long time. Everybody I talked to on We the Gamercast, they all grew up with Pokemon, all the things. The cards are a thing. I just went to Toys R Us yesterday. Had a huge selection. I'm like, I don't even know what to buy. Like, is this good? I imagine that this is a good selection of games.
Jay says he's thinking about playing Pokemon Go too.
Let's do it. There it is. I've been thinking about, look, Jace and I, we're connected.
Jace, you want to take the seat, Sweet Hangs? Sounds like maybe you should be doing this. Yeah.
Let's do it. I went for a walk last night, very, very late, but we get sunlight for 24 hours a day at this point. Yeah. Oh, dude, I should get that, actually. They used to have it. They took it away. I thought they had like an app for your Apple Watch, and apparently that's gone now. Like, it used to be a thing where you could just
They had a wristwatch.
Yeah. Well, they had that and also an Apple Watch thing, but then they got rid of the Apple Watch probably to sell all of the accessories that they could do. Like, why would you give it to them? It was like, my phone is listening to me, says Jace. I'm going for walks to go collect Pokeballs at this point, and I'm gonna have to like buy extra storage because I'm at my max for the number of Pokemon that I've got, and I'm like managing all the stuff. I'm like sending things off to the professor. Like I got 2 everything. I'm keeping 2 of everyone because I think I can evolve one and then keep the other one the same. I think that's a thing. I don't know if there's strategies out there that people have they can throw at me at Sean Capri, Sean Connery, Capri like the pants. How you're supposed to play this game, because I've spent years just like walking around catching Pokemon. But apparently there's like a lot of other stuff to do. Like Team Rocket's showing up.
Yeah, you can go and do battles. You can go take towers and stuff. The Pokemon
I've never done a raid.
Formula for the game never did much for me. So I'm not the best partner for you on this one.
All good. I
just thought it was very like just kind of surface level Pokemon, right? I always wanted a lot more.
That's why it's a good on-ramp for me, because I don't know anything else. Honestly, I'm just trying to like memorize as many of the damn names of these Pokemon as I can. So I'm not because that's where Lincoln is in his life right now. He's just like, what's that? What's that called? What's that called?
The first 300 I got down. It's the other new ones.
The first 300. Oh my gosh. It's reminding me of like chemistry class or something. I'm gonna have to get like a periodic table of Pokemon. If
they made the periodic table more akin to Pokemon, I think more people would know it.
Probably. For sure. Yeah, there's probably a version of that existing somewhere.
Maybe
like a layout of them. There's got to be some sort of method to the madness.
To a certain element. I'm sure every element is.
Oh yeah. Pokemon. Oh, there's actually elements. Yes, of course.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I'm at. But we're gonna get dude. All the other games are like so full price. Like I never got into Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. Like I
like Let's Go.
I have X on my 3DS, which to the point earlier.
I like X. Good game.
Maybe I'll just be playing that. Maybe I'll just
Sun and Moon
play
my favorites. Might be my favorite. It's not the most nostalgic. It's not like the most special one, but it might be my favorite Pokemon game.
Datalo says, "Do you know them alphabetically?" The first 300.
Can you do the Pokemon rap?
No.
Snorlax, Pikachu, Zapdos, Articuno. Gonna catch him on Pokemon.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So I'll keep you up to date on. I would love to have I see some of these videos of people learning to play guitar.
You're gonna do a Fireside Chats Pokemon podcast.
Yeah.
Pokewalks.
This will be the start where I'm like, I want to get started with Pokemon, and then you fast forward a year to the clip of us doing this show, and see where I'm at.
Yeah,
I'd love that. Like I get like this vision in my head of somebody actually doing this, like cutting out the tape and going like this 2021 version of Sean Capri talking about getting into Pokemon. And then you just smash cut to a year later, and I'm doing the rap.
Guys,
I'm talking about the first 300 Pokemon.
Was an awful idea. Why did you let me think that, Tommy? Like, God.
No, this whole thing behind me is replaced. Like everything's gone. It's all Pokemon stuff. Pokemon. Like I start up a YouTube channel.
It'd be so much more expensive.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good idea, honestly.
Get that Pokemon.
That's what I'm realizing with this whole.
Get that Pokemon.
The Pokemon Go. I have that too, and that was another reason why I got it. Because I just want to learn the name of these things.
Like Pokemon Snap let me down, so I'm shooting 2 for 2 here.
See, there you go.
I'm just like, oof.
Pokeshawn. Yeah, it's easy. Pokeshawn. A lot of people put Crossing after their name for Animal Crossing. You go I mean, I'm trying to think of something else. I don't know why. Pokeshawn's perfect, Tony Baker. Thank you for that. So yeah, a year from now, 365 days, it'll be goodbye Xbox, hello Pokemon. I'll be right in time. It'll be very timely. Pokemon's fresh. It's brand new. Nobody's ever done that before. That's what I want to do, Donnie. I'm just going to disappoint you.
The Pokemon Arceus comes out in January.
I might have to dude, we joked about maybe the Nintendo didn't have like the most exciting E3 for me, but then we went and found out how much money I'm going to spend. on Nintendo stuff over the next
that's
year.
That's just because they don't have Game Pass.
They probably did enough because they don't have Game Pass, and because I stupidly buy games like Mario Golf, and I did that digitally because we got a little caught up in the excitement of it's out now. Like we got to get. Like I had it pre-ordered at EB Games. I was gonna buy it the next day, physical.
I was always gonna get it, and I'll keep playing it. It just isn't what I wanted out of it.
It's just another thing. It's all good. Well, anyway.
I liked it more than Snap. I like Mario Golf more than Snap.
I still will play Pokemon Snap like every once in a while. Like it's a nice, just like I just want to chill out and
I tried.
and play
I booted it up, and I was like, I don't want to play this.
The thing about that game that I'll say is I thought I had a lot more hours into it than I do. And I think that says everything you need to know about like how the game is. Like you're like, I thought I had like 10 hours. It seems like I've been in this for a really long time. It's like
3 hours.
You're 2.5 hours in. Yeah. Pretty much. That was the marker where I was like, I would have gone onto a podcast and say like I'm 10 hours in, and somebody else who would have known better probably would have said, you should be done then, right? Like you're finished. And no,
yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. It's gonna be great.
Well, it's gonna be a good summer of games.
People are gonna make fun of it because of its kind of old top-down look and everything. Like, I can't believe you're buying $60 of this when Mass Effect Legendary Edition's also $60. And I'm gonna be like, I bought 2 of them, motherfucker. You okay? Go play your Mass Effect. I'll take 2 of these. Thank you. Yeah. May I have another?
You look at Mass Effect and Tony Hawk, and then you look at everything else.
Jeff likes Tony Hawk on Switch. I talked to him a little bit about it, and he did a video review. I point everybody to. He has one major complaint, but like, I watched him play it and saw some of his footage. It looks good. Like, I'm definitely gonna get Tony Hawk on Switch on sale. I have it on Xbox.
Yeah, on sale. On sale is for sure.
I have it on Xbox, but like, if this is like any of those other games and it comes down to like $20, definitely getting it.
It seems like the type of game that you'd want actually portable more than anything.
Yeah,
like
just throw it on, listen to some tunes, skate around for a minute. Like, it's a great little portable thing to have.
Yeah, maybe it was overkill getting it on Series X or actually on
I didn't buy the upgrade. I was like, I'm not giving you 10 more.
That was the thing for me. Yeah,
I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay for that. What the hell? Talk about voting with your wallet. It's like,
well, yeah,
no. And they're like, it runs in 4K. I was like, I thought it ran in 4K on the Series.
So did I.
It looked great the first time.
Yeah, so did I. Tony Baker says, I'm so tempted to pick it up on Switch double dip. It seems perfect on portable.
So apparently it's really good port, and I say that knowing what that means. The only thing about it is if you want to restart the level, the load time is like 15 seconds. And apparently, like, if you're really into Tony Hawk and you screw up a run and you want to restart the level, like, that's going to get
down, restart.
It's not instant like you're used to.
Yeah.
So just know that going into it.
That brings me back. That was my brother and I were obsessed with that game on the
Hawk,
Dreamcast days. That's definitely the thing. You're on a run, you're trying to get a high score, and you mess something up.
See, I think I would just finish the run and just do it again. I don't think I would just restart it.
You get to that's the whole thing is when you get to the point where you're playing so much, you don't do that. You want, like, your high score, your previous high score was so good, and you know that you're never going to be able to get back to that high score.
So it's just like a waste of time to.
It's absolutely a waste of time
to finish.
Yep. And it becomes like this weird habit. Like you're not even thinking about what you're doing. It's just like fall. And before your brain even realizes what happened, you've already pressed start. You press down to where it says restart instead of resume, and then A. And you're just like...
Well, that makes sense, because Jeff is really, really damn good at the game.
Yeah.
Like, real good. So that makes sense.
Yeah. I used to when my extremities worked the way I wanted them to, Donnie, but I'm getting up there. I'm gonna be 37 pretty soon. Getting there. Hair's going.
So much younger and healthier than you say you're 37, and I look at you, and it's like, I feel like you're like 24.
Thanks.
Right?
Thanks. That was a much drunker version.
Like, I'm younger than you, but I don't feel it at all.
Your kids are much older.
Yeah, I know.
I think that is the primary
dad years
factor. Yeah, dad years. Yeah.
When your kids walk in, that's like me, like 12 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. You probably look like me. Probably look very similar. Trucker Slaw says I'm 43. I mean, yeah, we have our community.
It's the final countdown.
Oh God, that's my life.
Get dark.
Years left. Tony says, so here I am growing older all the time, looking older all the time, feeling younger in my mind. And here, is this a song? This must be a song. Those lyrics hit different now.
Pretending I'm Superman.
I don't know that song. See, I'm
Tony
old.
Hawk.
I don't know. I don't.
Come on, man.
Who?
Tony Hawk, pro skater.
Oh, Tony Hawk.
Superman.
I'm sorry. The Discord cuts out every once in a while. Sometimes I don't actually hear.
Is it really?
Yeah. No, just when we speak over each other. Sometimes Discord doesn't know what to do with that.
I got you.
Ryan Turfer says Ryan Turfer saying he's 40 is the thing that doesn't make any sense. There's no way that man is 40.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed 40.
He's the 20 below. He's got all the history of the games though.
Older than us. Like when I think of 40-year-old men, and I think of like my father-in-law and my dad and everything, like they felt so much older. Are we just like a bunch of old kids?
Yes.
Like, is there a maturation point, like when you stop playing video games, that you just you look older than you are?
I think so. Yeah, probably.
Because when I look around, like Dev's like 40 and Kevin's like 40, I'm like, they all just look like just kids.
Whatever Dev is eating and drinking, whatever like creams that he's using, like he's a good looking man. That Dev,
for
very
sure.
smooth.
For sure.
Yeah, good man. Yeah, you're right though. Like I don't know. And the other thing,
like none of us look like what I have in my head. Middle-aged 40-year-old man.
It's the t-shirts. A lot of it is what we wear, maybe too.
Close to that. Even when you suit up, you don't look like that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm lucky that my hair is still kind of here. Like I think that's part of it for me. But I look at like older movies and try to really remind myself, like, you know, Tom Cruise will always look older than me, right? Even if I go back to like Top Gun, I'll think that Tom Cruise is older than I am now. But there's no way. He was probably like 24 years old, Tom Cruise in Top Gun. You know, but there's something about, I don't know what exactly. Maybe it's just because when I originally watched it, he actually was older than me. But there's a snapshot in time. Does that make any sense? Like if you watch an older movie, like at a certain point, I'm going to be older than Bruce Willis was in Armageddon. My favorite movie of all time. And I think he will always look.
It is. I love it. It's your favorite movie of all time.
I love our. We've not talked about this.
No, we've talked about Armageddon, but favorite of all time is a whole separate leap.
Listen, the other side of it that you need to know about is, you know how hard it is for me to say like my favorite thing of anything. So rather than like giving you like a Schindler's List or whatever, Shawshank Redemption or something, like I'll just call Armageddon my favorite.
Do it again.
Yeah.
let's go to the tape.
Yeah.
I've actually been trying to. Maybe listeners can help me with this. I have had an itch to scratch for about a week that I can't seem to find.
Yeah, that looked into.
Right? I really, really am in the mood to watch like a big, awesome action special effects blockbuster movie or trilogy. And I feel like I've watched them all. I feel like I've watched them all recently, and it's like I can't, like I'm just combing through them, like Matrix, like done it. It all feels so tired for me. Like Armageddon, I've done it. Lord of the Rings, I've done it.
Yes.
Interstellar, I've done it. I'm like, where is the next 8 of these? I need another Matrix. I need another Die Hard. Like, where are the movies? Like, not. And I know
that's where you start to really feel old.
Yeah, like
they don't make them like they used to.
I'm just scrolling through endless amounts.
Jay says Jumanji in the chat.
I'm scrolling through endless amounts of titles, and I'm just like, nothing of this doing it for me. It's like I want like a big set piece, like end of the world movie to just sit back and popcorn on, and I can't find anything. I'm struggling.
I mean, that might be the Marvel effect. That might be the comic book movie effect.
That's the last one.
Why would you make any of that?
Marvel was the last one that felt that way, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and even like some of the ones aren't that good, like Greenland wasn't great, but I really enjoyed watching it. Like I still had a good time watching it. I don't think I watched
that one.
It's like came out last year. It's like an end of the world comet movie, I think. Yeah.
We could do that on this show. We could do like hey, let's watch a movie and then talk. Like we'll just steal every single one of the ideas that ever came out of Fluxopposed. But to be fair,
it's got to be specifically available.
I did a
Netflix
and chill show. I'd like to bring that back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like talk about movies. Yeah.
And it's like I mean, I can always go horror movies, but I'm actually kind of in a weird space where I'm starting to make a short list for what I want to watch this Halloween. So I'm actually kind of like saving some of the horror movies that are on my little to-do list this year.
I would love, honestly, Don, I'm throwing this out there. Like, I would love to do that for us to just like call out, because that's way easier to do with movies than it is for like games or books or whatever. To have like a little like book club kind of conversation about stuff. Like if you and I were gonna go, like, when does the next Purge movie come out? Like it seemed like trailers are happening.
The Forever Purge.
Seems like
Oof.
Yeah.
I have thoughts on that.
Well, So that's just the next thing that comes out. Candyman has got its trailer coming out. Like I don't know if that's soon.
It's gonna be so.
Candyman
good.
looks really good.
It looks so damn good. I'm so excited for Candyman. I made my wife watch it last. I'm looking at show.
Ryan says at least horror movies are still good. At least we have that going
out.
for it.
No way. Yeah, July 1st. It's out next week.
Is The Purge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when.
I hope it's good.
That's about the time the last one came out as well.
It's not gonna be. They've screwed up every Purge since the first one. Like it's
such a good premise.
It's an amazing premise. It's one of the best ever written, and they just can't get out of their own damn way. They just ruin it over and over. This is the last one. They're killing the franchise of this one. Yeah, like this is. I think that's the whole purpose. Like this is definitively the last one.
I feel like they said that like with like after they made 3 more Saw movies.
About 13 Halloween movies later.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah,
I can't wait to watch
especially horror. Like they're just they're easy to do. But I miss talking about movies. I miss consuming movies. I have a lot of movies. Like a lot of movies to watch. I have Netflix, but I just don't have any. I don't know what to watch next. I like to your point. You put it much more eloquently. Like I just don't know what I want to watch next.
I know what I want to watch. I just can't find anything. I can't find a movie to fill the void. Like,
sure, kind of like
exactly. I know exactly what I'm itching to watch. It's like I want to watch 2012. I want a brand new 2012. I want it all over again. You know, it's
nice.
You know, it's
2012.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Like some sort of big.
The day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. Like, where is that movie? Why aren't they making them anymore? Like, why is there no good tornado movies? We have not had a tornado movie since Twister.
I can't believe we didn't get 2 of them. That was one that didn't get the pair. Like, you didn't get like Armageddon and Deep Impact kind of deal with that.
Why don't we have a remake of Twister? Like, they've remade everything else. Like, special effects are awesome now. Like, why don't we have an awesome, Twister movie? And we don't get that anymore. What we get now is like Sharknado. That's the Twister movie.
9
like with crocodiles this time. It's like it's ridiculous.
I had an actual dream that I was living through a Sharknado.
Oh, that's
like there was actual sharks falling.
I had a crazy dream last night. You want to know what the dream I had? Legit, 100%.
Last night.
The reason I know this is I woke up and Google searched it. I had a dream that I was at a conference, some video game conference, and some Nintendo person came walking through, and I was so upset that I did not own a Wind Waker hoodie for some reason, and Rebecca was there, and she made fun of me about not owning a Wind Waker hoodie, and I woke up and Googled Wind Waker hoodie and like bookmarked like 3 of them. I don't know why, but like that was the dream that I had last night. It was completely random and stupid and dumb, and I was like, why? Why would I have?
Maybe you fell victim to an inception.
It specifically had to be a Wind Waker specific hoodie.
Sounds like you got like Leo and JGL like infiltrated your brain.
Maybe it's
put that idea in there.
Maybe Wind Waker's coming. Maybe we'll find out at PAX.
Some
Who knows? But it
we'll probably get another couple years of these ports coming to Switch.
Yeah, they got still some runway left.
You
can still do Xenoblade. Like they've got them.
What was the thing that just came up on Patreon for PSVG? Penny Art. Dollar Sign. I was gonna say Penny. Yeah, what was the movie they just did? It was like Showtime or something.
It's a Netflix sci-fi movie. I think it's called I was gonna say Storage Hold or something like that.
Oh, Stowaway. Yeah, Stowaway. Yeah. So there's movie content out there. It's just so many of us do.
I want like a new Prometheus, man. Or
I want to watch Prometheus again.
Remember how awesome Interstellar was?
It's one of my favorite movies.
Right?
I talk about Armageddon. Interstellar really is truly one of my favorite movies of all time.
I saw Interstellar day 1 in the theater, and it's like I was in amazement.
IMAX.
I want to see. I need that feeling again. I felt that way at Midsummer. Midsummer was.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. I missed that one.
There was
me. Well, let me explain. Like there was probably based when Lincoln was born, and I don't know. Maybe this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
It's free. Go watch it on Amazon.
Is it really?
It's been
it's on
free all year.
Oh snap! Well, maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's what I'll do tonight.
Oh God!
Oh, I've never seen. I know. I've really enjoyed your guys'
the center of my shelf, surrounded by all of my stuff. It just sits right there in the center.
Midsummer. Look, it's even here in Canada. Look, there it is. I can watch it. Play the movie.
Dude, it's so good.
I'm gonna watch that and play Mario Golf at the same time.
Nope. Focus on the movie. Focus on the
Did they shoot a new Matrix movie? That's true. But the point, Trucker Sloth, I think, is that like there's nothing really original. You know, you're gonna be watching the same movie over again, or they're just gonna reimagine. Like Jurassic Park, I'm done. They just stop making the Jurassic parts. This might be controversial. Teaser? I don't care. Is it got Chris Pratt in it?
Prehistoric and stuff.
It's gonna take a lot for me to really be won over by that because I don't know.
I like Jurassic Park. It's really dumb lately, but
I'm the only one. It's clearly a very successful franchise. Trillions of people watch this thing. Like they like that there's more movies. That's not me.
I didn't like all the space age stuff and they're rolling around in hamster balls and stuff. I was like, what the hell is happening? This is dumb.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here I am saying I like want this big grand production. That's exactly what Fast and Furious is. But I'm so out of that franchise.
Isn't that amazing?
It's so off the wall. You know,
watch the new one and then go right back to the beginning and then watch the first one.
The first one was
like how cute. Oh, the first one was amazing. Like it's just two totally different.
Yeah. Now it's
different. Like you want they're trying to do
superhero. It's like what the hell's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. Good for them. Like apparently it's like the biggest launch. I don't know if it was of the series or just of the year, which I guess probably would be hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want an awesome movie to watch. Mad Max.
It's funny. Ryan says if you want original recommendations, I may not have movie recommendations, but I can send Donnie a list of anime to watch. That's not where I thought that comment was going, but I'm a dum-dum when it comes to this stuff. I tend to shut down when somebody goes like, you should watch it. Other than what you just did, because I've already made up my mind that I want to see Midsummer. But when somebody goes like, you should watch this, and I'm like, I don't know. I think like, there's so much of that.
I think there's a part of that. I've always, like when we were doing Decade of Horror, one of the things that I was always trying to privy to is I definitely think there's a natural resistance to something like that. Like you have to really be won over. But I think I think the reason why people are naturally resistant to that is, I think there's some satisfaction in finding something. It's like it's a part of the journey. It's discovering and having that discovery for yourself. And like when it's taken away from you, I think it kind of puts people off on a bad foot.
I definitely agree. And one of the reasons why Midsummer is like already I'm going to watch it is because I listened to you guys talk about it. So normally people don't do that. Normally people will just go, you should just watch this. It's the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that doesn't really cut it for me. Like I need a little bit more. And I wasn't asking like really, like it wasn't part of the conversation. Like it was just kind of like, you can't, like you should watch this new thing on Netflix. And it's like, sometimes I think people just recommend things because it's the newest thing on Netflix.
Did you see the new movie?
Like, totally.
Still need those reports though.
It's hard, and I know that's a weird thing. Because most people go, oh, I'll totally check that out. Like I think that's what I imagine.
A-hole, Sean. What an a-hole.
On that front, maybe a little bit, and that's what I'm wondering. Maybe I'll put this out there, and people can let me know. Like, how do those conversations normally go? When somebody says like, you should watch this, do people go, yeah, I totally will, and then they totally do? Like, is that what? How do normal?
I take recommendations.
See, then I am a dick.
My AC guy gave me 3 horror movies I've never watched.
Dude, your conversation that you relayed on Xbox Empire of having these guys in your basement and everything that you were talking about, or is that Empire or maybe Game Tech? I can't remember.
It's on Empire. Spot on.
So good. Like you just
that's exactly like how it went down.
Through.
If I could have recorded it and played it back, I mean, it was verbatim.
People should listen. That was great. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. Like I could see you doing that with these guys. Come on in. Check it out. Because the thing is, like, people watch YouTube, but not, it's funny, outside of, like, in our community, everybody's creating content. So we all have the same desk, we all have the same layout. But if anybody else, like, comes to see, like, your desk, and it's like, what the heck? Like, you must be a YouTuber or something like that.
They went nuts for my horror movie collection. So that's the thing. The guy that was doing my or the guy that came and doing my air conditioner, the guy that quoted me, and he came back the next day. Not only did he come back the next day, he told, like, the technician showed up before him, and he's like, I heard you really like horror movie. Like they had been talking about it. You're going to this guy's house, and let me tell you, this guy loves horror movies.
That's awesome. Like, I love that.
So I feel like a comedian, you know, like if you find a comedian, you're like, I got a joke for you, right? Like they came prepared. They're like, have you seen this? Have you seen that?
Funny guy.
And I always feel bad because I've seen most things. So he's like on 17 on the list. He's like, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, I own that one. He's like, have you seen this? I own this one too. Have you seen that? I own every one of them. Here's the box set. You know.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like I don't like that. I don't like that feeling as much. But he actually gave me 2 movies that he liked that I had never heard of, and that is new for me. Like that doesn't happen to me often in horror specific space.
I was
like, I'm absolutely gonna watch these. He's like, are you really? I was like, yeah. was like, I'll take anything. Nice. I'll watch anything. Sure, you said it's good. I'll give it a try. And then he quickly like walked it back. He's like, it's not like super good. I was like, I understand what you mean. If you like horror movies, it's a good watch. I get it.
Which actually, him walking it back almost makes me want to know even more. Like, let me actually, because it seems like he's aware. He's got some self-awareness.
Yeah.
Of like what he just did.
Yeah.
Where I think most people just completely lack
and
that.
I told him, look, I get it. I was like, I'm not expecting it to be the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, I know how most horror movies are. I get it.
Yeah, but have you seen Halloween?
Ooh. Okay.
Says Chase.
Good one. Which one?
That could be a fun way to. I don't know if we're gonna do movies every single week or what, but have you watched Cube before, Donnie? Says Jose.
Where's this?
I don't. In the Twitch chat. Jose says, "Have you asked?" It comes up as ask what, not why. Have you watched Cube before?
I don't think so. Cube.
I've never heard of that one. Is there more than one Halloween? Is there more than one Halloween? Probably.
Cube from 1997. Let's see here. 6 different people, each from very different walk of life, awaken to find themselves inside of a giant cube with thousands of possible rooms. Each has a skill that becomes clear when they must band together to get out. A cop, a math whiz, a building designer. Metacritic 60, Rotten Tomatoes 59. No, I've never watched that. So.
Ryan says it's also very good, but points out that it's a Canadian horror movie.
Oh.
So take that for what it is. Did you see there's a new M. Night Shyamalan movie? It's called Old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is the thing. I feel like I'm just trying to get back into movies now, and I'm probably like watching or coming to know things that everybody else has known.
I didn't know. Is it out yet?
I don't think so. I think it's coming out soon. I just saw the trailer, just saw the concept of it.
I think I remember looking into it when we were prepping for Decade of Horror.
Yeah.
For sure.
Terrifying concept. As it gave me, it shivered my bones as I watched like these.
Played with some of that in terms of themes and stuff with The Visit, which if you haven't watched, you should.
I never watched that one. No, I don't think I saw The Visit.
I like that one.
That was Signs might be.
That was kind of like M. Night Shyamalan's like return to form, because he kind of went off the reservation a little bit there, and people were a little worried. They're like, he's not that great, and then like The Visit came back. I'm like, he's still got it. He's still very good.
Who did Split? Was that wasn't him?
No, it was. Yeah, no, he did Split. Yeah.
I thought that was excellent as well.
Yeah, I love Split. Split's great.
Did he do he's done all 3? Like he did
that I don't know. I think so.
Unbreakable or whatever the first one was called.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if he did all 3 of them. I think so.
I mean, I don't know. I think I might be spoiling it. I don't know if anybody needs to know that those movies are connected or not connected, but that's a whole other thing.
They did their own little
but Old looked cool to me. These kids, and they go on the other side of the beach, and then they come back and they're old, and it's like that is a terrifying concept. I don't like time being, dude. Like I talk about this all the time. Like if the feeling of time being stolen from me, or like wasting a day or wasting a night, like that is, I hate that. And to have like that being part of like the curse of this beach or whatever the twist is gonna end up being, yeah, it's written for me. It terrifies me in my entire brain. I don't
have to watch it.
Tony Baker says, remember when you had to look at a newspaper to see what movies were playing? I do remember that. And I remember looking at the wrong day.
Do you remember having to call the theater to ask them what their show times were?
Definitely, all of those things.
They used to have like a voice recording. They're like, in theater 3 at 3 p.m. you can catch this, and at 6 p.m. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, man.
Things our kids will never know.
We tried to see Mrs. Doubtfire. I remember very specifically we were going to go see Mrs. Doubtfire in the theater, and we got there and it wasn't playing. We're like, what day of newspaper were we looking at? Were we looking at today's newspaper, or were we looking at yesterday's newspaper?
Turns out. Episode?
What's that?
I think that's a Seinfeld episode.
I don't know. The Seinfeld. I thought you were bringing up like the movie phone thing. Like that was the Seinfeld reference.
Oh, is that the Seinfeld? I just remember calling. I actually remember calling theaters trying to get movie times.
Yeah, like Kramer, like their lines got crossed or something.
Because Kramer gives out the recommendations. He's like, "Oh, you don't want to go see that." Yeah, no. There were services for that in the 90s. I remember like you had like the Roger Ebert hotline and stuff like that, and they would give you like little movie
Roger
reviews.
Ebert. Yeah, Jose, we did not have movie phone in Canada, but it made sense. Like that Seinfeld episode was just a classic. So anyway, I probably should eat. Did you eat? Did you have something?
I haven't eaten yet, no.
It's later for you. What are you doing?
Well, I was gonna like play something, but to be honest with you, I'm not really in the mood. I don't feel like it today. I haven't. Like I've been working most of the weekend, so I think I'm just gonna turn in early.
You gotta stop that.
What?
Working on the weekend.
We have an event coming up, so we're running. Like I don't really have much of a choice.
The world is coming back online.
Next weekend, we got a big marathon and everything, so it's like we're trying to get some stuff done.
Yeah, you got your old celebration of independence is coming up. So, same with us. I don't know if that's exactly what we celebrate, though. Independence. I don't think that's what.
Are you independent? You still have the Queen's money.
I don't know. I don't know how it really works.
How does that
part
work?
of the Commonwealth? I don't know. We don't have the Queen's money, but she's on our money. I don't know if that makes sense. Like we don't have we don't use euros or pounds or anything like that.
Well, I guess you're right.
We have our own money.
And she's on it. If she's on it,
she's a lovely lady. She's a lovely looking lady. She's on some of the money. Yeah.
How weird is that? You have money. People on your money are not even from your country.
That the funny thing is, I don't.
So Canadian.
I don't carry cash.
That seems like such a Canadian thing to do. It's like
pretty much.
We like them. We'll put them on the thing.
They're fine.
Yeah. Not even
some
our
of them
own
have
people. Not even our own people. Suddenly it makes sense.
Some of the money has like people playing hockey on the back. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff.
You and Ryan like take self jabs at being Canadian and all these things. Like it now makes sense. You're like, well, who are we going to put on it? The Prime Minister? Like, oh, absolutely not.
No.
He's like, and he's in the room. He's like, oh, I wouldn't. I'm not good enough for that.
Definitely put her on it. Yeah. Also, this beaver and this moose, and a loon on the $1 coin. And I don't even know what's on the toonie. Maybe I think it's a loon on the toonie, which is a real coin.
Many beaver.
Did you know that we have a toonie?
I don't know what that is.
That's a $2 coin.
Oh, we've had $2 bills.
Yeah, we used to. We just got rid of the $2 bill. We now have it's a polar bear on the toonie. I haven't had cash on me in a long time. Thank you, Canadians in the chat.
Polar bear?
We have a polar bear.
Now it just sounds like an amusement park money. Now it just it's like, was this Beverly Hills Cop?
This is me. Look how much this aligns with me saying that Armageddon is my favorite movie. Like, why would I even try to make it serious?
On one too? Like, what? This is ridiculous. A polar bear? Why is
very
there
menacing.
A polar bear on your money?
That's what they said in Lost. Why was there a polar bear on the island? They said the exact same thing, Donnie. Polar bears are majestic creatures. Anyway,
surely there are national heroes that can grace some currency in Canada.
You know what we need?
A polar bear.
We need some sort of like cartoon or something. Maybe it's a live action thing where a man rides a polar bear. Like he saddles it up. Like that's his method. That's his mode of transportation.
Polar bear. How many polar bears have you seen?
Well, He-Man had a tiger. Like he had this tiger cat, attack cat or whatever. And in Canadian version, it's a lumberjack and his polar bear.
How many polar bears have you seen?
Like out of captivity, none. Like zoo stuff.
Out of captivity. Yeah, I've seen a polar bear at a zoo. We're not putting it on the money here. God,
you're just jealous. You wish your guys' money was as cool. Yeah.
You think that's what it is, huh?
What do you have on your money? You have like you have the Illuminati on the back.
Old white dudes.
Yeah. So that sucks.
But at least they're like, American figures.
Yeah, but do you want them to be American figures? Like some of those guys got dark pasts, Donnie.
Caricature of ourselves. But they also still fought in wars and like even with the bad, like there's a reason they're on there to begin with.
Ryan says you could ride a polar bear in the World of Warcraft. That's close enough. That might do. Okay. Wow. That's it. That's the end.
That's the end?
I think that's the end. Ryan Turford, when you're recording, this is the end.
Good luck, Ryan.